16th driver to accomplish 50 career wins.
But he's not done yet.
I really want to hear what your thoughts are about where you are in the world of NASCAR right now.
I'm not in the middle of the tunnel of my career, but I can see the
Actually
light
proud
at
of
the end
that
of
title.
it. And, you know, I wonder what I'm going to do beyond that. It's a way for me to be part of this sport well beyond my driving days. And hopefully 2311 wins races and championships for decades to come.
You've got Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin. We'll see continued success out of those guys.
I think they're ahead of their time frame.
To do that.
Oh, trouble front straightaway. Hard in the wall goes Hamlin. Big hit.
It's a tantrum, and he shouldn't be racing next week.
Where are you with the competitors? Do y'all say on the text chain, like, it's cool, we'll do it again next week, we'll see what happens? Or how's that work?
It's changed over time. Chase, for instance, he called me up not long after. He's like, you know, I have a ton of respect for you. And obviously I was just hot in the moment. You know, hopefully we can just move past this. Same thing with Ross, right? I mean, we got into it for nearly a year.
Howard just said they think you made your point. You're right.
But once we had finally had the face-to-face, it says, okay, are we ready to just start over? From that moment on,
thanks
the
for the sub,
relationship
Yannick.
pivoted.
Larson's in the fence.
Is our relationship different? I would probably say yes.
All the buddies know Denny's always right.
But at this point, I've just given up on winning NASCAR's most popular driver award and just resigned to the fact that I'm going to be the heel for the rest of my career.
Hey, I beat your favorite driver.
Obviously, you're going to not like this part, but guess what I'm going to say?
I have an idea.
Denny Hamlin, regardless if he wins a championship or not, he's going to the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
So close, so many times to a box that he hasn't checked yet.
I know you're on the top of your game, but it's getting toward the end. Is that championship, are you just dying to get it?
Am I dying to get it? No. Do I want it really, really badly? Yes. The championships are different now. You gotta really run well, and Blaney taught us you gotta run well the last 5 or 6 races of the season. That's why getting to 60 wins now is the main focus I have, because winning a championship absolutely is a column that
I was listening to
big fat zero in it right now.
Hamlin's podcast on the way home today, and
with a champion with 12,
it was
15
interesting
wins,
to hear what he said about the title as somebody who hasn't won it
There's
yet.
positives and negatives. I think that if I
Saying
would've
how
won,
he
I'd be
views the
probably considered
title
the worst to ever win a
versus
championship. At least
individual
I'm the best
race
of something
wins.
now, or one of the best, and that is to not have won a championship.
Well, it'll be fun to see the celebration, and I look forward to being a part of it one day.
I'll throw a good party, I promise.
I think I'm gonna end up doing that as a.
Right there.
I like the optimism.
Totally. We can catch Michael in just a little bit. We're going to have his great
should,
walk. Let's not forget that Denny also got engaged. He opened a shop.
I
He does
should,
the podcast. I mean, but he's a guy that I feel
I
like
probably will end up
busier
putting the
he
poll
is,
during the
the better
500.
he is. And there's no reason
Who
to
is
not think that he
NASCAR's
can't go
most
out and win
hated
his fourth
driver?
Daytona 500 this weekend.
No, and I was going to say exactly what you do.
'Cause the answer
he needs to be
varies.
busy, I think, in order to be successful. And
I'm
we all
honestly
operate in
surprised how
different
much the
ways.
answer
But
varies.
I totally buy into what he said there. I agree that, you know, being able to win 50-plus races or get to that 60 marks, that'll be huge for him. And I don't think he has to have that to have a complete career.
I've seen people
he
play
definitely
it.
wants that. But if you think back a few years ago
I'm
when he started
not-
2311, a lot of us were like, ooh, it's going to be a big
I have games I
distraction
play.
for him.
I'm just
But it hasn't
it's
been
not
at
a
all.
game that
Yeah, and a couple
I have
things for me
interest
that I
in.
take away so far.
I've watched
from really our
people
whole
play
show.
it, and I
Kevin
love
Harvick,
watching
we
the
see
people
this
that
piece
do.
on Kevin Harvick and how many mind games
But-
take place in our sport, how these personas are built. I think Denny has kind of found himself in a spot to start leaning into this, and he's doing that with the fans, with other drivers, and he's kind of building this wall around himself to where
Also,
he
I
can be the
should,
next Kevin Harvick, that mentality where you don't let people in.
point
and
out
you
the
can go
fact that
out and
Roots
just,
is doing his
take it
own
to him.
stream
So
right now,
I like what he's doing there. But
reacting.
he also has
I think he's on
another,
YouTube.
form of building his brand.
I think he's
and
probably
that's
got
with
the
Michael Jordan, with
NASCAR
this race
app.
team that they're building together. He has an opportunity
.com
to
app
transcend
using the- he's gonna
motorsports
probably have
with
the
his,
running-
you know, status and things that he's doing because
running
of what
order
Michael
behind
Jordan
him as
is
opposed
doing
to
within
the
that
like
team.
I'm doing.
I love the way they're building their brand, and I think it's going the right direction.
More than just a driver, he's creating a legacy
Yes.
for Denny Hamlin, 1,000%. Time now for
No,
our
they
Toyota team.
started at
update.
7
I
o'clock-
mentioned
7
that
o'clock,
Denny will be in duel number 2. Here's what the
last
rest of
year.
the guys look like. So no Toyota qualified in the top 12. Eric Jones, who we heard from earlier in the show with Larry, he will start 12th. He's the best. And then you see Denny Hamlin will roll off 17th. John Hunter Nemechek in that new car, he'll roll off 19th, and Bubba 14th. Bubba and Denny, this is interesting, right? In the same duel race. We'll see how that goes down. We are getting closer to the green flag out there in
Exactly.
Daytona.
I think ever since they
It's the
went
duel,
to doing
and
them
it's
at
almost
night,
time.
it's been the same time.
Let's talk about ED. As you get a little older, things tend to work a little differently.
I felt shame, embarrassment, guilt.
Like something had been knocked out from underneath me. What HIMS does is says, hey, look, don't worry about it. We got this part covered. 100% online.
The whole process was very discreet.
You have to give me a minute, pal. I mean, I'll call you back, obviously. I just gotta make sure I go over there and do it.
I remember this feeling.
Get started today at 4HIMS.
Remind me before the stream ends tonight.
Not you again. I can't talk to a doctor about this. It's embarrassing. ZocDoc? You're right. I bet they deal with this all the time. What about Dr. Anderson? Okay. Dr. Finley really puts you at ease. And she takes my insurance too. Let's do it.
You've got more options than you know. Book now.
I'm gonna miss you too.
This season, Toyota Racing is looking for jaw droppers.
I gotta get back to an NHRA event.
Stomachs that can stand the pressure.
Only been to one, and
quick drop thumbs.
It's been 15 years since I went.
So hold on tight and strap yourself in. This season, we want you. Join us at Toyota Racing.
The Daytona 500, Sunday at 2:30 Eastern on Fox.
I think the big story of the duels is looking to see what Toyota has, because they were so slow in qualifying, but not worried about Toyota because they did this last year. Toyota historically has not been good single car qualifying. They usually have a better race car than the qualifying car.
Shop purple at Denver Mattress, the easiest way to find your perfect purple.
You know, how you feel on the inside is just as important to me as how you feel on the outside.
Oh, Daddy. I'm grown up, everywhere in every way. Guaranteed you're my grown up, and I know you're there. I'm grown up, and you know I care. It's you and me and me and you. So when you are okay.
Hard to believe Sesame Street has been around as long as it has. Since 1969. 60, going on 65 years. No, 55 years. Yeah. Yeah, 55 years. 55 years.
It's NASCAR's opening day.
It's race day for the Great American Race.
This is a race with favorites, long shot streamers, all drivers.
This is the biggest day of any of the year of NASCAR.
Well, we're gonna see, because you have both.
This is the most unpredictable.
Both the Fords and the Toyotas with the new bodies. We'll see how they race. I mean, the Clash was a race, but it really wasn't.
As Larry McReynolds would say, 3 days away. Look at that.
It was basically a door beaten. It was basically it was a short track. It wasn't one where the aero was really going to be.
Every lap, every mile, and every victory.
You really weren't going to see differences as far as aero.
More driven. When we checked in with our pit reporters, everyone was getting introduced, so a lot of action taking place.
Yeah, they're up there in the grass. I've always wanted to mow my grass like that. I don't know about you, Jamie.
Jamie did his whole grass for a while, right? You were.
I was my own landscaper.
You were.
Like
yeah,
that.
you were.
It did not look like that.
Michael McDowell, he's a former Daytona 500 winner, champion of the sport. So is Jimmy Johnson, two-time winner. I mean, listen, the whole field, duels everywhere, champions. You know, past winners of this race, everyone wanting to get that trophy again this
That's our
season.
favorite amigo, Daniel Suarez.
Yeah, look at that smile on his face. Didn't start off great with missing the Clash, but he was able to win that Mexican Series race.
Yep. Eric Jones ready to go. See if his Toyota handles better than it ran in qualifying yesterday.
And Martin Truex Jr. is thinking the exact same thing as Eric Jones, hoping that.
Well, if you're the front row,
yeah, all the Toyotas we mentioned, none of them starting.
If you're Logano or McDowell, you don't want to tear your car up. Duel racing, but don't tear your car up because you guaranteed the front row.
There beside of them, they win that together, won Xfinity championships together, and always seem to just come to the top once they're
so good on the super speedways for sure. On Sunday, as part of our Daytona 500 coverage, you're going to check out Clint Boyer's interview with the reigning champ Ryan Blaney. This should be fun. Here's a preview.
I'm so passionate about what I do. I want to do so well. And when things don't go perfect, it frustrates me. Last year, I didn't win a race. Bang, can I do this? Like, can I still compete? Am I good enough to do this job?
So you had some doubt.
Oh, yeah. I've never been a confident person, ever. Are you going to continue to just make these same mistakes over and over again, and your career is not going to change? Or can you try to pinpoint and fix these things?
That Sunday, our coverage starts at 11 a.m. Eastern on
Obviously, I'll be
FS1,
watching
1
that,
on Fox.
but
He's more
the other one I want to watch
Sleep with
is
them.
He could go into the undercover.
I want to watch.
mode, like between the beard and no
Apparently,
beard.
He looks like a
they
totally
got
different
Kevin to
person.
interview Kyle,
I like Ryan Blaney though.
but I
I'll
want to
sit
see
down. He'll
that
be my pick
interview
to win
because
the Daytona
that's
500, even without
the
seeing
first thing they
any
played
cars on
to
the track.
preview
I
the
think
interview
momentum that
was
he has
the
from
incident at
last year. He
Texas.
also won at Talladega, the last super
They also
speedway race
showed
we're at.
Darlington
He is
as well.
good on super speedway tracks
I think
as
that's gonna be
anybody,
good.
and I think the momentum will carry him through.
Yeah, if I learned anything last year, it's that I counted him.
Don't doubt him.
Yeah, don't doubt Ryan Blaney. I mean, he turned it up at the end. We heard an interview earlier about how important those last 5 races are. The last 3 races, all top 2s for him. Won the championship at Phoenix, so he's got all the momentum that you could want coming into this Daytona 500.
Got that championship patch that identifies him as a champion
That
as
was
well.
the thing he was most excited about.
I mean,
the
listen, I'd be
patch,
excited
little
about that
things.
as well. Let's take it. I'm excited about this. Let's make our driver picks by Advent Health. See who we think is going to win tonight. Jamie McMurray, you're up first.
Well, we talked to him earlier in the show. I'm going to go with Joey Logano. Starts on the front row. He said he was going to be aggressive, just like his teammate Ryan Blaney. Joey Logano is as good at this type of racing as anybody. I liked his attitude. I'm going with him.
I'm going to go with another Ford. Ford's won 5 of the last 6 dual races, and Chris Buescher. I know he doesn't have his teammate Brad Keselowski in this, and that's a lot of their success is working together.
And again,
but they did both win the
the
duel
thing that's on the line, Alfredo's already locked in by his qualifying lap.
To the masses.
But if he's the highest finishing locked in car at the or open car at the end of the duel, Johnson is in by his
I took
lap.
Joey Logano. That didn't lead him for you, and you normally pick Joey Logano. So I think you went with the next best choice.
Well, you didn't get to pick Kyle
Yaley
Larson, so
doesn't have anything to fall back on. He has to be the highest
he's gonna
finishing
pick,
open
but we know
car.
that he's down there getting ready to do his grid walk, so we're going to send it down to Michael right now.
That's
Hey, Shannon. Yes,
the simple,
and we're alongside Martin Truex Jr.
simple in a
Martin,
nutshell
yesterday
that
didn't go quite like you thought it
how
would.
the open
What's
car
the goal for
race is
today?
going.
Yeah, I mean, obviously
We're gonna
as
go.
much as we can. This is going to be our best, drafting practice for the Daytona 500. So hopefully our best Pro Camry will be fast, and we can make our way up towards the front.
Handling's important to win the Daytona 500, and you know you almost did one day. Maybe you can get one this year.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see how this new Camry works. Should be fun.
Appreciate you. Let's see what we can find now. Ty Gibbs. See how Ty's giving. Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Hey, Michael. How are you?
I had so much fun at the Coliseum. You were a rocket. That was cool.
Thank you.
You're going to be fast today. I know you're starting a little bit back.
Yeah, with all the advice that you and Mitch Covington gave me, I think I might be okay. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited. We're going to have a great racing Monster Energy Camry XSC, so we'll see how it goes.
I got an over-under for you guys. I know there's only 40 people, roughly 40 people in here, but I got an over-under for you guys.
Think of you as a hanger-outer.
What are you going to tell everybody about that,
Over-under
Michael?
10 races into this season, Ty Gibbs wins a
fine.
cup race.
I'm going to go hard. We're going to get in a good position to pit, and then hopefully we can finish the race in first place.
Because I'm saying
Let's see what we can
possibly
find next.
under 10.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. We usually talk about the race today and how the car's running. I want to know
Just the
about
way
last
he
year.
ran
What's
at the
it
end of
like
last
being a
year.
Daytona 500 champion for Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Well, Michael, you know how it is. You've done it twice, so now I need to add another trophy so I can try and catch up with you. But no, it's been.
But
it's been
then
great.
again, they're
It
also
really
with
kind of
the new
propelled us
Toyota
last
body,
season,
so we'll
have
see how
really
that.
strong runs at a lot of racetracks
We don't know
that
how
we
that's
struggled
going
at in
to go with some of
2022.
the other tracks. So.
Hopefully, we can start it off the
see.
same way. But if not, we got a really good race team and feel like we're really strong and improving in a lot of areas that we needed to. So hopefully, our boost by Kroger Cottonelle Camaro is going to the front here. We didn't qualify near as good as we wanted to. We got our fuchsia color on here that I saw you like. So.
Yeah, I think you look really nice. Thank you, Ricky, and have a great race. See who we can find next. Hey, Chili Rita, how you doing?
I'm always good, Mikey.
You are that. You're always really good at Daytona, too. Are
Corey.
you ready for this weekend and maybe chase that first Daytona 500?
About,
I've been thinking about this
I'd say
since
roughly
November,
10 minutes
so
from now,
just
Luke.
pumped up to have Chili's
Maybe
on
10,
the car.
15 minutes
People
from
can
now.
scan the QR codes on this hot rod for a chance to win some Chili's gift cards and maybe a VIP race experience Dakota. But
That's
you got it,
bold.
buddy. We're going to send it trackside for festivities.
I'm sorry, that's bold.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise as
The
your
momentum that that
and
team
remove
was
your
on at
hats
the end
as
of
the
last
Baldwin
year,
Middle Senior
I
High School Army Junior
doubt
ROTC
they're gonna
Color
go on
Guard
this year.
presents our nation's colors. Here to offer tonight's invocation, please welcome from Advent Health, Chaplain Mack.
Dear God, as we are gathered here this evening to celebrate these beautiful individuals who have this race that they must run, help us to remember that we have a race that we must also run. Help us to run it with perseverance and remind us that we are not defined by our defeats, but we will be remembered for our resilience to rise. Help us to rise, so help us God. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome the Douglas Anderson Chorus.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly stream. And the rocket's red flame was first gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the and the
Daytona under the lights never gets old, does it? We have a great weekend ahead. Daytona
If you're
500,
new here,
and it all kicks off
yeah, that's
qualifying
my
for
tradition.
second
I
stage
always
tonight.
silence myself for the the opening ceremony. So, but I seen your what if. Hey, you could watch me for the video and watch Roots for his reaction. I mean, I have to go over there and tell, hey, you can put on mine if you want to watch the video while you're looking at the live thread. You have to deal with me, but you know.
Those really long and delicious treats be wildly affordable. Then we said, but we already made them, and they are. Introducing the incredible new foot-long sidekicks. Get one at Subway today.
I will say this, the last super speedway race we had last year, the Dega Fall race, was decent. So I'm hoping maybe the more these races we run with these cars that
or finding your swimsuit is ready for prime time.
the more races we run, the better the racing gets. So.
Clearer skin than the leading pill.
Well.
Don't take if you're allergic to Sotyktu. Serious reactions can occur. Sotyktu can lower your ability to fight infections,
We'll see.
including TB, serious infections, cancers including lymphoma, muscle problems, and changes
Yeah, that's
in
my
certain labs.
Discord for those that are new. That's the Discord where we do gaming there sometimes on weekends.
Sotyktu is a TYK2 inhibitor. TYK2 is part
I don't
of
normally stream Xfinity. I'm obviously going to do Xfinity this weekend because it's the opener.
has been hiding. Ask your
But-
dermatologist about Sotyktu for clearer skin. So clearly you. Sotyktu.
Oh, that reminds me.
Energizer Ultimate Lithium.
Forgot to do that.
#1 longest lasting AA battery.
I find it hard to believe you don't know. I've got to go, okay? Bye.
Reminded me.
Don't put down your head, 'cause I see you. I be your mirror.
You were made to dream about it for years. We were made to help you book it in minutes.
Also, I love my. I love the title I put down for this too. Kind of making a play on the old gentleman's the gentleman's declaration of duel, which was you take a white glove and you slap the guy across the face, across the cheek with it. And it's supposed to be how you challenge somebody as a gentleman to a duel. I love that little tidbit of it from last year.
A lot of unknowns, a lot of anticipation.
The pressure's on then, boys. Welcome to the duel at Daytona.
Yeah, I don't do fantasy. I do it on another Discord because I'm not running it. If somebody offered to run it, I'd say yeah, go ahead. But
racing season and waiting for racing season. Tonight that wait is over as we will set the field for Sunday's Daytona 500. Front row is already locked in, but all the other spots are up for grabs. And a scenario like we've never seen. A newly minted NASCAR Hall of Famer is in the field trying to make the Daytona 500. And for Jimmy Johnson, it's going to be Hall of Fame or exit lane tonight.
Unbelievable, guys. I mean, 7-time champion, Hall of Famer, like you say. He's racing his way into the Daytona 500.
I would create a thread for it if need be.
Well, Jimmy just has to take care of his car, make sure he dots the I's, crosses the T's. Don't
If
make any
somebody
mistakes
was
on pit road
wanting to
and
do it.
everything right, because he has the speed against
I
the
probably
guys he's
wouldn't run
racing
it
against.
because there's another one that I'm involved in on a different Discord, but I can get my input to help you who I think you should go with.
Week after week, and this is a lot different car than he used to race before.
Now for the NASCAR regulars that will run the whole season, the season starts here. This race pays points. This race gets you ready for Sunday. This race has importance to it.
I think that is the most important thing right there. Not a lot of practice when you come down here to Speed Weeks in Daytona. This is the first time you're going to get out there. Half a pack, Kevin, but very important to get out here. Give my crew chief, Larry Mack, he wants to know how this hot rod's handling. I'm going to go out, I'm going to feel it out, I'm going to tell him how it's pulling up. Are the temperatures good? Are we overheating? All these things go into a contributing factor being good on Sunday when the big shows.
And points.
Yeah,
right?
Johnson's qualifying time would be enough for him to fall back on, John. If Alfredo is the highest finishing open car, Johnson's in automatically because of his qualifying time. Yaley's the one. Yaley has to be the highest finishing open car because he can't fall back on his time.
And made the playoffs, and Martin Truex missed it. So you better pay attention to racing for points tonight.
I hear it, but it's the Daytona 500. The biggest thing is that I love about these duels is they're short, they're in your face, and I like the fact that it's my first chance to get a Daytona trophy.
The biggest thing I've seen so far, just qualifying.
America's best are at the
how
ready.
fast the Fords are single car. I've never seen them come down here with the speed that they've had so far, at least single car. But
Daytona International Speedway.
Yeah, we'll see.
This is the moment you've all been waiting
see
for.
how that translates to when
Blue Green Vacations
they're actually on track racing.
Here to give the command of fire engines is Senior Vice President of National Marketing for Blue Green Vacations, Jason Sabo.
Drivers, start your engines!
Well, that's an opinion. I like the look of the new Mustang now. Honestly, of the three, I like the Mustang look. I love the look of the Ford. Especially watching him qualify last night.
Ready to race in Daytona to set the field for the 500 right here on FS1.
Well, I'm not gonna. I gotta see the duels first to see what we're gonna see.
And drop it.
So the biggest takeaway just from qualifying is the single car speed out of the Fords. Chevrolet I knew was going to have single car speed. Obviously you look at HMS's streak they had. So I figured Chevrolet was going to come down and be a player, but I'm shocked at the single car speed from Ford. So, well, we'll see. This is the first test to see who might have the best race package for Sunday.
Don't get stuck at home with the flu. A flu shot is the best way to prevent the flu and its potentially serious complications. Don't get flu FOMO. Learn more at getmyflushot.org.
The Daytona 500, Sunday at 2:30 Eastern on Fox.
No one cares about me, so why should I care about myself?
Well, they lost front row streak.
Even when I'm with my friends.
Keep in mind, Stenhouse Jr. was the pole sitter in 2020.
Every day. These are the stories of kids struggling.
So they didn't have a pole streak. They had back to back, but
that's why the NFL is working to give kids the tools.
The real streak was Bowman's front row streak.
Millions of kids feel alone.
It ended last night.
Aren't.
I'm just a cleaning lady. She's clearly much more than that.
The Cleaning Lady premieres Tuesday, March 5th on Fox.
No, I did not, Bumble. Was it a head-on or was it broadside? Ooh. Yeah, I hope he's doing all right. Had a guy I know from the NR offline racing community, the offline league stuff. He was in a pretty bad car accident. Broke a vertebra in his back. He's hanging around, but I'm sorry, Rect, I don't know who that is.
Racing in the Daytona
I've seen
500.
One of the most special places in
circle
all
down
of
the circles, but I don't know who he
Only
is.
tangible for a few. To stand
Apologies for
among
not
the
knowing who he
greats,
is, but
you must
I don't
first
know who he
prove
is.
yourself tonight.
When you put a helmet on, you want to win.
Stock car legends return to the driver's seat.
7-time is back.
Obviously, R.I.P., but
all to experience
not somebody
the
I'm
sweet,
familiar
familiar
with.
Taste of victory lane. This race has witnessed heartbreak and triumph, a true test of grit and fortitude. Only the anointed will experience a spot in Sunday's 500. The Duels at Daytona on FS1.
They roll off pit road behind the safety car. They'll tour for a couple of laps and then they'll get the green for 60 of them, 150 miles. First duel.
The only way. Oh, thanks for the sub, Bowling. The only way that Johnson is not going to make the field is if J.J. Ely and B.J. McLeod race their way in.
Chase Elliott.
Not saying it. Not saying it's not impossible.
Chase Elliott had a great qualifying effort last night and
practical.
fifth fastest overall. But
I
tonight you finally
doubt
get to
that's
race.
going to happen.
You have a new spotter, a new full-time spotter in Trey Poole.
Simply based off
Working
speed.
with him here at the Super Speedway and just everything in general for 150 miles.
Yeah, I think this is a unique race nowadays, right? Because we don't have practice leading into qualifying anymore. So
yeah, that's legit
really
the only way
that
that Johnson's going to miss the race.
And just an opportunity to feel out what we have. So it is an important night, and there's points on the line too now. As I learned last year, those can matter quite a lot.
Well, Johnny has to. Well, yeah, in this race, the only one he can really control is Ely.
Try to keep the Napa Chevy in one piece.
But he really honestly has to worry
We'd
about
like to
both
race
of
this
them.
car on Sunday, first and foremost. So we'll try to, stay up front here. Got a good starting spot and go to work and try to get ourselves in a good position to have a good pit pick for Sunday. Obviously, I think that really matters more than the starting spot.
All right, that's 6-time most popular driver Chase Elliott rolling off third here in duel number 1, Mike.
Thanks, Jamie. Let's have a look
I
at
forget what
the
the
starting
point
grid, sponsored
breakdown
by
is for the
Blue
dual
Green
races.
Vacations. It's a Ford Chevy front row. Joey Logano won his duel last year, while Kyle Larson's best duel finish is third.
Let's dial up Joey Logano. Joey Logano, Kevin, up in the booth. You got your first 500 pole, everybody. Congratulations on that.
What if
How do you
you're going
balance
back and
it
forth? You
tonight?
could tell
Trying
him
to win the race and protecting your car.
if he wants straight from my mouth, he's gonna make it.
Hey,
Toyota just didn't have the single car speed qualifying, but he's gonna make it.
Being fast tonight, trying to win, and protecting your car.
Then again, like I said, the truth is stranger than fiction. So
He didn't want to talk to you.
you never know what can happen in these races, and
Row 2, how about these
Though
boys?
if
2 dual winners right here. Number 9, Chase
what I'm
Elliott
seeing
from
and what I'm
Dawsonville,
thinking is going to
Georgia,
happen,
two-time
he
dual
should be
winner.
fine.
And starting 4th, Austin Dillon, 2021.
I
dual
don't know if he's going to get the top open car. We'll have to wait and see.
Third straight year in the first duel, and Todd Gilliland with his best duel start of
We'll have to wait and see
Row number 4, Ryan Preece had the big
how
crash
the
here
car
last August. There's some new Preece paving on
how
the
the
backstretch.
car
and
runs.
Chris Buescher, who won here last August. Jamie Little. Jamie Little.
I see Blue Jimmy fans
that's
doing
right,
his
Mike.
reactions.
Last time we raced here in August, Ryan Preece had one of the
It
most
really- I
violent
guess it
wrecks
really
you
is
can
the-
imagine. This is
the
when
start
his
of the
car
season,
got
huh?
sideways on the back stretch. He went airborne, flipping about 10 times. When he finally came, you see how violent it is there. He finally came to a stop. He was able to crawl out under his own power, but his bloodshot eyes, those bruised eyes, lasted 4 weeks. Unbelievable still to see those images. Now, Ryan was asked about coming back through the tunnel here and getting ready to race. He said, as a race car driver, you have to put those emotions aside. You can't think about them. You have to be numb.
Keep in mind,
to those
Bumble, I'm right in that
emotions.
same vein
Tonight,
with you.
It's all about business. Go out and win the dual race.
Remember, I'm in that same vein with you. When you call yourself old, it's like, well,
Well, Jamie,
I'm right
Ricky
there.
Stenhouse Jr. scored the win of a lifetime
I'm right there
in the
with you.
Daytona 500 last year. This year, the team came down here focused on qualifying. Unfortunately, qualifying not quite as good for Ricky this season, or a little better than last season, but not as good as they wanted with the focus they put into it. But the team did tell me this car is faster by a lot than the one that he won the Daytona 500 with a year ago. Look for him to be aggressive and strong tonight in that car as he tries to become only the fifth
I'm with you,
driver
Rick. I
to
think
ever
Preece
win the
ends up,
Daytona 500 back to back.
I think Preece ends up winning a race this
Thank you,
year.
Regan. There's the rest of our starting
We'll
lineup.
see where, though.
JJ
I
will
mean,
tag the field. Let's check what
there was a
Josh
couple of
said.
races that he, in that 41, had good runs going, and just they couldn't close out races.
There is not a 7th after qualifying last night. Alex Bowman looking at the brighter side of things, saying, hey, now we actually get to race in the duels.
I look for Preece to be strong at Martinsville.
In disguise. They could learn a little bit more about their car in
Maybe
these duels
Bristol.
with something on the line. And he also told me, hey, we started on the front row. It never resulted in a win in the Daytona 500. So the streak is over, but maybe that opens the door for a win in the Great American Race. Like,
Use the NASCAR thread.
Now for an important
Correct.
adjustment
If
that
you're going to
we
make
can't
predictions,
see. Here's Larry
do it
McReynolds
the
with our
NASCAR
Toyota
thread.
cutaway car.
Yeah, Mike,
There is a
remember,
NASCAR
these
thread
drivers,
too.
these
You got to
teams,
scroll
they had
down,
no
but
practice, only
there
the
is a
one lap of
NASCAR thread.
qualifying, so there is something that they can work with.
Anybody that is a
It's
member
under
of the
hood of
Discord,
car.
if you want to put
So
your
let's go to our Toyota cutaway car,
your
and
season
it's got to
predictions,
do
go ahead,
with
throw
what
them in
we
that
call a
NASCAR thread on my
radiator
Discord.
block-off plate. You can't run any tape on the nose of the race
Who
car.
knows? Maybe
It
I'll
goes
look.
through the
Maybe I'll
throttle,
share a
it
few
goes to a duct
during
at the
my
top,
my
and
pre-race
feeds
stuff for
air
the
to
500.
engine, to the throttle body itself.
Kind of see what
But
everybody
the
thinks
other
going
air
into
that
this
passes
season.
through the radiator in the oil cooler, it goes through an aluminum plate that we call a radiator block-off plate. That feeds the air out the louvers in the hood that affects downforce as well as drag. Now, this is something that teams can play with. More hose, less hose, bigger hose. You may run a different block-off plate tonight than you ran last night, or you will run in the 500. And guys, it's a balance between engine temperature and
I
aero,
see
and
lights
also it affects how you
out.
can pull up in the draft, Mike, Clint, Kevin.
Not right.
Leading
I'm
the
surprised he
field,
isn't.
the
Maybe he had to work tonight.
XSE. It'll be in showrooms early this summer.
Lights are off. What
So
is
we got a
actually the
little pep
second
talk for
green
Team
flag of
22, though we
this
didn't get Joey
season
on
that we're
radio.
going to get? Obviously, I include the Clash when I say that. This green flag of Daytona. Duel 1.
He answered all your questions anyway, Kevin, huh?
Yeah, well, that tells a lot of the story right there. He talked about going for points. He
Racing
talked about
season,
taking care
we're
of his race
back.
car and learning about his race car.
Well, I can tell you what he's got to do. This
Good
is
movie,
the
by
duel.
the way.
We talk about manufacturers and the support, the help, trying to find all these guys. He's the slow car, or the little man on the totem pole. A lot of Chevys in this one. 12 Chevys,
right.
4 Fords, 5 Toyotas.
Pace
Let's
car
do
is
it.
in. They come to green at Daytona.
Green and Duel 1.
Racing in the blue-green duel.
Let's see who gets the early jump here.
First laps and race
Dylan and
conditions
Larson
right
a
here.
little closer together. But the bottom lane has the third
I
car.
think this is always, from a driver's standpoint, I always like to be a little bit cautious on that first start.
38-41 funneled in together.
Going into turns 1 and 2 to make sure it didn't hit the ground.
Inside more compact, just Dylan and Larson up top, close.
Already pretty comfortable. 4 cars now pretty comfortable deciding to push, but you
Outside
have to
start
be
to
able
come.
to learn about your
Back.
car right from the beginning, and in order to do that, you have to be aggressive.
Big jump to the outside. The red and black car
Larson,
up top. Gilliland
looks like the outside's got the advantage
was
now.
inside, but the car up top.
Looks like Larson's going to lead the first lap here.
Get a good start and left a big gap there, so Gilliland was able to capitalize.
Gailey right now the trailing car there. That's the light blue car, the aqua car.
The last 3 years, Duel 1 has gone caution-free the entire 150 miles.
We'll
Duel
see.
2, nothing like it.
If that's the case, then it's going to come down. If it goes green all the way, it comes down to
This is your pole sitter for the Daytona 500.
the pit stop, which they are going to have to stop at least once.
You wrecked this race car in this race, Kevin.
Well, we know it's fast, but you got to know if it handles, and you have to know if you can push, and you have to know if you can be pushed. So we see the Toyotas and the Fords with different body styles. We're on board with
right now the outside with the advantage.
Ross Chastain out the back bumper.
If you don't see a driver in this race, they're in the second race.
He's staying out here and going to try to lead this thing.
Well, you got to get some points. You got to get points. This race pays 10
Outside was a little stronger there, so now Larson and Dylan going to drop
10.
low.
So you want to get every point that you can.
That puts the Fords of Gilliland and Busher up to the top lane there, and the outside's still moving.
Oh, help from the 45. 1 off, 1 up.
Yeah, it'd still give the advantage to that outside lane. At least right now.
Now, on our scoring pylon, the drivers that are trying to race in, those that are not chartered cars guaranteed in the 500,
Right
are
on
shown
board with
in
Jimmy.
yellow. In the race 1, Anthony Alfredo, Jimmy Johnson, and J.J. Yaley. And
Now
the
on
story
board
for them is
Chastain.
very simple. Yaley must finish ahead of both Johnson and Alfredo, or Yaley goes home. It's that simple.
Gilliland and Busher drop in line.
That's a lot of pressure, Mike. Even though there's not a lot of cars, it's still a lot of pressure because if this
Suarez
race does
now
go
leading the
green and
top.
it comes down to a green flag pit stop like it did last year, you have to get on pit road under some crazy
That's-
conditions. And
yeah, that's
there's a lot
Jones
of things that
behind
could go
him.
wrong.
Third year in a row, Kyle Larson has led his duel. Those are the only 3 that he has led in his career.
He's been fast down here. He just can't quite get the job done at the end. Wrecked in the 500. His day's coming at this place. You can feel it.
Daniel Suarez on the outside, leading that outside lane toward the front and maybe to the lead.
Yeah, Suarez, if we can get to Larson's quarter panel, we may have a lead change
Jones
here.
with him. Martin Truex.
Yep.
Ricky
Outside,
Stenhouse and
real
more.
tight, close.
Corey
Suarez to the
LaJoyner on
point.
outside.
I've seen pretty comfortable. The cars obviously feel stable. A lot of pushing already, Kevin.
Well, the one car that impresses me right now as we ride on board with Daniel Suarez as he changes
Well,
lanes.
what I say about the Toyotas?
A Camry
There's
on the
2 of them on the
outside,
outside, Jones and
Chevrolet on the
Truex.
inside, and we talked about how the Fords have been so
That
strong.
outside lane, I'm
Here we
telling
are
you,
with
that
Chevy and
outside
Toyota leading
lane
both lanes.
right now seems to have all the momentum in its favor. The inside can hang for like a minute, but then the outside just...
Covered it last night and qualifying. Kind of slow off the pace for speed-wise. But somehow, some way, come race time,
Yeah,
they usually
it's
handle
growing
good
on me.
and push well.
The Mustang
It's such an
is my favorite of the
scenario. You
3
wanna
for
run
sure.
fast and you wanna head speed, but
The
sometimes
Toyota's
those
growing
cars
on me. The
that
more and
don't
more
have
I
the
see it,
speed,
the
they
more
get
and
the
more I
drag and
see
they
it,
suck up
especially with the
a lot
paint
better than
schemes
what
now.
you would think they would do.
More and more it's growing
when
on
they
me.
don't have that kind of speed in qualifying.
First time in
Didn't
his
like it
career,
initially when
seven-time
they showed it,
Jimmy
but
Johnson has
the
to
more it's
try to race his way in, and first time he has been in a Toyota, as his team now has changed makes from Chevy to Toyota for 2024.
Not with that scheme, John.
Johnson has
Not with that
2
scheme right
ways
now.
to make the field. One is to be the highest finishing open car, where the name is designated in yellow there on our pylon, or if Anthony Alfredo is the highest finishing car, Johnson will fall back on his qualifying time and make the show.
The biggest movers of the race. I mean, you see him right there hanging on the outside up
You know,
front, pushing
again, the
Jones,
only way
Truex
that Jimmy
Jr.
Johnson is not going to make the 500 is if both Yaley and McLeod are the highest finishing open cars between both dual races.
Got there fast.
That's the only way.
Regan Smith.
So yeah, in my book, he's all but guaranteed to make it. Even if he wrecks, he's all but guaranteed to make it. Jaylee would still have to get around Alfredo.
Compared to what I was in last year with this new Camry body, well, so far the report back from him on the radio is good. It's really fast. He sounds really excited about that. Kevin and Clint, I know as a driver, when you're talking like that, it's a good sign for things to come.
Stenhouse trying to lead that top lane with the joy.
They're that slow to go into the day and say, I'm really excited about my car, but when you get out there and it drives straight to the front like Eric Jones has, that is a great feeling. And we look at the Camrys.
They don't have that anymore.
The field, and the front of those cars, as you see right there,
now with the charter rules, they
car, you can see, and that's meant to push.
Actually, I think it was the top 30. No, the top 35 rule I thought still had it. I think it's when they went to the charter rule they got rid of it.
Not only are they fast, but they can push. You hear Eric Jones lifting out of the throttle right there, and what he's trying to do is back up to Martin Truex Jr. so that he can stay close enough to him to where it doesn't slow that line down.
So far, we have yet to see.
In order to keep that distance to the second place
again,
car.
we're only 9 laps into this.
Exactly what happens. They get on
it's dual, but yet to see the inside actually hold off the outside as far as the momentum the outside's been on.
Have to move, hit the brakes, slow your line down, just like you said.
Eric Jones
but
was
that's the situation. That's
last night. He was the fastest
it's Jimmy's choice to run a car that's an open car, basically.
Leading here at Daytona tonight.
Don't count them boys out. Don't ever count them boys out.
Well, actually, if I was Alfredo, I'd just ride because you're in the race regardless. He's in because he was the quickest open car in the single car sessions.
We want beers and lattes. Great.
Basically, if you were a former Cup champion, mate, not yet locked in the show, you'd basically get a spot. It was the most recent past series champion was guaranteed a starting spot.
And totally check out with pure, uninterrupted.
And that basically started after Petty missed the show. I think it was 91 he missed a race. And NASCAR basically started that as a result. But I think that went away when we went to the charter system. I know I can't remember if we had it during the top 35 rule, but I thought we had it during the top 35 rule.
To help you book it in minutes.
So.
What if finding a new job wasn't such a leap of faith?
I don't think I'm right for this. I said I don't think I'm right for the job.
You're perfect for it. What if you knew you'd be paid?
Well, you'd see more of that for the big crown jewel races. So that, like the 500, you'd see sometimes past champions running like real shit tier rides because of the past champions provisional coming into play. Not so much in some of the smaller some of the other races, but the bigger races, Daytona, Indy, Charlotte.
All the way to our latest.
You'd see that.
Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. Our latest innovation on the road to being carbon neutral by 2050. And certainly not our last.
And again, it's sort of a matter of, again, why wouldn't you? It's a guaranteed spot to make the show. What got real fun is when you had different champions, different teams running championship, Cup champions, to see which Cup champion was going to get the past champions provisional.
Still green at the Blue-Green Vacations Duel at Daytona. Watching from our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, powering the race from green to checkered flag.
I'm checking in on routes.
Goodyear, more driven. New leader Corey LaJoie on the outside, taking
new leader
Ricky Stenhouse.
Now, I tell you how
Corey.
he did it. Jimmy Johnson, he's back. Old 7-time push LaJoie right to the front.
Again, that outside lane.
Jamie?
At least that's what I'm seeing so far in this duel.
And Jimmy Johnson spent some time with him
Outside
today,
lane seems to be the
he's
better
back
lane.
United with Earl Barbin, his longtime spotter of 15 years. They're back together. He was happy about that, but at the same time, the nerves. You could just see it in Jimmy's face. He's never been in this situation before, as you guys talked about, so he was curious how it was going to race. It's the first time ever racing a Toyota. The only feedback he's given so far is he's loose.
Absolutely.
You know what they say about being loose?
In a race car than success, and that
Being
confidence
loose
that comes with
is
it. Right?
fast.
When that baby marched right to the front, confidence goes with it. I bet you he feels much better.
Barbin and Johnson won 2 Daytona 500s together. Where's our pole sitter, Joey Logano? Larry?
Yeah, he has fallen back to 18th. And, Mike, I am not a bit surprised. I talked to his owner, Roger Penske, this morning. Roger Penske has 3 Daytona 500 wins, but has never sat on the pole for the Daytona 500. He said, I told Paul Wolf, Joey Logano, learn all you can, but I want to make sure
take care of the
his
race
car
car.
starts on the pole on
Yep.
Sunday.
Yeah, and that's
Which
kind
is
of a
what I
double-edged
expected
sword,
them to
Clint.
do,
You know,
you know?
you want the car to be up in the front of the pack to try to protect it as much as possible. I think honestly, I think he'd be safer in the front of the pack than he is in the back of the pack.
When a man like Roger Penske says, there's something, believe it or not, in motorsports I haven't done, and you have the chance to do that,
I guess
I'm gonna do
I
it.
guess I could do that. I know he's not watching my stream, but I should say to shout out Marutz, by the way, too. I know
Chase Elliott, all those
he's
guys
doing
that
his
started
thing
up in
right
the front are
now,
in the
but
back. So do they have a handling issue, or did they decide to go back there?
Oh, I don't think they all decided to go back there.
so
I mean,
either.
it's just that those guys did a good job. Truex, Eric Jones, phenomenal job. Ricky Stenhouse leading this thing. They're the ones that capitalize on that.
One car has lost the draft. That is Anthony Alfredo. And that is of no consequence. His speed is fast enough to get him into the Daytona 500, so he won't be headed home tonight.
We're 16 laps in now, Kevin. Handling is starting to show up.
what's bigger there is the fact that, again, Johnson versus Yaley is really what you're looking at here. And again, Johnson's time is still good enough that even if Yaley beats him here, he could still make the show, depending on what happens in Duel 2.
Especially if you're on the bottom, you just got to watch that front end taking off up out of the corner
No,
so you don't hit
Alfredo's in because he was the quickest open car yesterday. Him and David Reagan are guaranteed in the race.
That tri-oval is tricky, believe it or not.
And we hear a lot of guys coming in and out of the gas, and you'll hear the throttle percentage kind of back up, and a lot of times that is just to keep from hitting the guy in front of you. And I think as we go
basically, Rec, there's 4 spots
in the spacing of
that 6 cars are going for. 6 cars are going for 4 spots. The first 2 went to the 2 quickest open cars in the single car qualifying.
He's having a little bit more trouble to see him moving around.
The other 2 go to the highest finishing open cars in each duel. The highest finisher in Duel 1, highest finisher in Duel 2.
Getting that right front fender out in the air and having that right front dig in and the car spin out.
$18 green flag laps so far. Jimmy Johnson in the race-in spot in 5th. Kevin, understand you have some breaking news to share with us.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the new Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour podcast that we're going to start this Tuesday, actually. So you can join me every week with my new podcast and Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour. It's going to be presented by NASCAR on Fox.
Take a listen to that. I have Spotify, so it's easy for me to
NASCAR's Mamba Smith.
check that.
That'll be fun. I'll have somebody who can
good group.
Have fun with us and keep us, I guess, in style.
It'd be row 8. It'd be.
But you can find it wherever you get your podcast.
Because the spot translates to the rows, so the 35th position is row 18.
So listen, Clint.
I will.
I believe it should be.
Just be happy,
18th.
Okay?
Is Clint allowed to be on?
I'm not sure.
Well, that's assuming too that the pole sitter finishes above that spot too. You got to remember that Logano being the pole sitter, everything moves up 1. So I think with Logano running below that, I think it's 17th then would be the 35th starting spot.
So if you're wondering where are the Fords, well, there are only 4 of them in the first duel. The
Some dicing. Danderson so far been pretty clean through the first third of Duel 1.
And that makes
outside line appears to have the better momentum than the inside line as far as being able to take the lead.
Standpoint to try to work together and put yourself in position to get to the first pit stop and then get to the end of the race.
LaJoie's been working on doing that, just what he had. Finally got a gap there between first and second on that bottom. Took the hole. Now he moved back up for the block. LaJoie's making the moves.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
LaJoie going to get stuck 3 wide. Corey's got to go to the back.
I used to call that the sucker hole.
Yeah, now he's got to start over. He tried to follow Ricky Stenhouse Jr. down to the bottom, and there just was not enough room there for him to get
They
down
got
as well.
snookered.
Well, he made a block. They were coming on the outside. Jimmy moved back up in front of them, and then I think he went to go back down low. That gap had already closed.
Jeez.
All the way to the back. Unbelievable. Boy, that was quick.
He's got a little help there.
Followers coming
Joey
in.
Logano, but doesn't seem like either of them are too interested in going forward at this stage. 21 laps is what we're working of 60 right now.
I'll tell you what, I said it at the start of my stream, and I'm going to say it again. I said it last night. I'll say it again.
Market price lobster, and to know the market price.
Be careful with.
Sadly, we can't have it all. Except it's
Be careful with looking at qualifying times for the Toyotas.
Uninterrupted relaxation.
They come with better race cars, and right now, a good chunk of them are in the top 10.
Life doesn't always give you time.
Granted, we're only a third of the way through, so.
Prediabetes.
Third of the way through Duel 1, anyway.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, but with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. And
drink
can change the outcome. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test today. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org.
Today is just such a special day. The XFL and the USFL merged together to create one powerful spring football league called the UFL. These players are going to play hard-nosed, intense football, passionate football.
Every play matters.
They got one shot. They're going to ball out. Spring football is here to stay.
The UFL season kicks off March 30th on Fox and ABC.
Spring football is here to stay.
I don't know. I think that's gonna be that's gonna be a good thing to watch. See what
23 complete and still green in Daytona. Tomorrow night, the lights shine brighter here as the world's fastest truckers take center stage. It's an all-out battle for the checkers tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern on FS1. Ricky Stenhouse, your leader. For Chevrolet, Eric Jones, Martin Truex in Toyota. Kyle Larson,
also,
Daniel Suarez in Chevrolet.
Channel
Jimmy Johnson
point prediction
having to race his way into the
for those that want to get in.
Well, you saw Martin pop out of line back there to lead that top line. And
I'll probably do the same one
forward,
for Duel 2, so just to prep you guys for the Duel 2 channel point prediction, I'll probably do the same,
I want to pull out and be the
same
leader
question.
Of that line that's coming so that you can do exactly what Martin just did to be the leader of the race.
The flip side of that is Stenhouse saw it coming. He wanted to move up.
Well, that depends.
Down. I think that was a pretty good move.
Is the higher score the higher chance you have diabetes, or is it the lower score that you have a chance of diabetes, Anderson?
Look up here.
26 laps in, Larry Mack. What are we thinking about pit stops if we have to make them under green?
Well, remember, the fuel window is about 40 to north of 40 laps. And you've got to make one stop at least for fuel. So what I think you're going to see, Mike, we have 12 Chevrolets. I think they'll work together. I think, though, with only 4 Fords and 5 Toyotas, 9, they will work together. What you have to make sure you don't do is pit too early. It happened last year in Duel 1 with the Chevrolets. They pitted early. The Fords and the Toyotas stayed out, stayed in line, and they made up so much ground, the Chevrolets just were taken completely out. I would say somewhere probably between 35 and 40.
Thanks.
It's the big gulps that get me from Speedway.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on the bottom there with Eric Jones behind him.
Ricky's got a pretty good car here so far.
About 10 laps ago, he came on the radio and said to tell Eric Jones behind me to push a little bit more on the center. Don't get quite off center as much as he is. Eric Jones, of course, we mentioned learning a new race car in terms of the nose on the front of that car. Interesting. The spotters communicated back and forth very nicely on the roof to get those guys to work together good.
Yeah, and when he's asking him to be a little bit square, the back bumpers have a little crown to them, Mike, and if you get off center with that back bumper, it kind of makes the car squirrely. And with the front of those cars being flat on the Toyotas now, you want to be as probably more to the center than what Eric has been in the past.
Well, Jimmy's nose is a little flatter than it was a lap ago. He just gave Kyle Larson a little boot down the straightaway. And there Larson nestles right up against Martin Truex.
I don't know if I would have done that, Rick.
Yeah, Eric looks like he's getting tight.
I think at this point the only way Yaley is gonna beat Johnson in this race is if there is a wreck.
Big pushes on that outside.
Which, given the track record of Duel 1,
especially if it's going to go green, and right here
this will probably go green all the way to the end.
And that's when, as a driver, you know you're doing a really good job staying on that bumper as close as you can and pushing. Is that when that hood flap comes up like that, all that pressure comes from underneath the hood and starts blowing that flap up.
Stenhouse's car did not want to hold the yellow line that corner, and he drifted up a bit, side drafting off Kyle Larson to get a push back to the lead.
Yeah, I'm going to say Mike, because obviously I'm not going to do my own channel point prediction, but so I can pay off the result. I say give me Chevy for Duel 1 and give me Ford for Duel 2 would be my call.
Yeah, that flap is straight up, guys. Both cars, the flap is straight up. When they attach to that bumper, the hood, the air has to go somewhere, and it's coming out the bottom of the hood instead of staying over the top of the hood.
That means that car's doing exactly what he wants it to do. Everybody comes down to Daytona. All right, can I pull up? Can I push? I want to be able to push, crew chief. That's exactly what you see Larson able to do in that Hendrick car. Flip side of that is his teammates waiting on this next duel to come out. They're lacking what they see.
Josh?
May have only been a couple laps yesterday, but Daniel Suarez entered this race really happy with his car. Remember some changes.
Funny to say that about Larson. There's really only one Hendrick car in Duel 2, and that is Byron.
He said the whole team
Bowman and Elliott are both in this duel.
They worked on the line of communication to get familiar with each other. They looked at.
So I find it funny that Boyer said that when there's only one Hendrick car in Duel 2.
Daniel can handle the pack. Daniel said he feels a lot more.
The rest are here.
This year, all coming off that top 10, confident what they can do, and he's showing it out there tonight, guys.
From a driver's standpoint, there's nothing better than confidence. And when you're on these super speedways, in my
official halfway now.
At the front of the pack, because if you don't,
in Duel 1, 30 down, 30 to go.
That have learned and pushed and shoved and done everything that they've needed to do all day to know how to lead.
Look who's leading. Two drivers that have never had any luck in this race. The 19, Martin Truex, is 0 for 19 in these Thursday races. Kyle Larson in the 5, 0 for 10. But there they are.
So combined, they're 0 for 29.
We heard Larry talk. It's time, Kevin.
In the dual
races. If we're going to pit with our manufacturers, with our teammates and everything else, try to form and execute a good pit stop under green flag conditions, they're going to have to start finding one another.
Well, a lot of them they're going to have to start finding one another, and they're going to have to work their way to the bottom in order to figure out how to get to pit road. You have to be in that bottom lane. So that's really when we're going to have to see who plans on pitting, because there's two different strategies.
A lot of blue and white cars up here too. Stenhouse, Jones, Johnson,
so
Larson.
We step away for a minute here with 32 green flag laps complete in the first of the blue-green vacation duels.
There's nothing better than the Subway Series footlong.
Truex came within a fender of winning the 516. It's the closest he's come. Closest he's ever come to winning at Daytona. In the Cup car. Has an Xfinity win here.
What's your favorite, Clay?
You're my favorite sidekick. No, you're my favorite sidekick.
We'll get back to him later. Every epic footlong deserves a perfect sidekick.
Hey, I'm at gate 6 wearing a gray shirt.
ฉันอยู่ที่ประตู6สวมเสื้อสีเทา
ได้ครับ เดี๋ยวผมไปรับอีก2 นาที I'll pick you up in 2 minutes.
No, if you're in the race, not rule out any possibility. I mean, it is Daytona. I mean, all you have to do is look at the last 3 winners of this race. Yeah, Finn. At least that's what they're billing it as.
A 500-mile all-out fight for NASCAR's biggest prize. That's the Great American Race. The Daytona 500, Sunday at 2:30 Eastern.
Last 3 winners of the 500.
At Honda,
Stenhouse,
we chased down a lot of dreams.
Cindric, McDowell.
All the way to our latest. Introducing the
It was their only win of the season as well.
Honda Prologue.
This is Rochelle, who gives you a shot. Rebecca is there when you feel not so hot. This is Larissa, who's feeling glowed
Derek
up.
Cope,
This here is Winnie, who's zhuzhed up their
Pete
cup.
Hamilton,
This is Victoria, helping women stay healthy. These are your kids, snacking snacks made with veggies. And Maddie can help you find your new favorite.
Mario
color.
Andretti,
Mel helps find meds for
AJ Foyt.
whoever you are, wherever, whenever. At CVS,
Some of the one-off winners for the 500
The Daytona 500, Sunday
in its
at
history.
2:30 Eastern on Fox.
Years ago, Sterling Marlin won his first Cup race in the Daytona 500.
Coming to complete lap 35, all under
It could be your first win. It could be your 10th win.
third overall in position.
All that
to
matters
transfer into the
is
Daytona 500. Martin Truex leading for Toyota. Kyle
500.
Larson second for Chevrolet. A
Not in
mix
the
of
Cup
cars in
Series.
the
Well,
first,
I'd
7
have to
or
see
8
what
spots.
AJ's actual
One
career
pit
win
stop
mark
so far,
is in the
Anthony
500,
Alfredo, and he got
or
back
in
with a speeding
NASCAR,
ticket.
but
Oh,
obviously
no. Can't afford that.
Of course, he will race on Sunday. He has the fastest time of the 3 open drivers trying to race their way in. Johnson and Yaley, the others.
Very good reminder for all these guys out here. I promise you the crew chiefs are reminding that spotter, do not speed on this green flag pit stop if we have one.
Yeah, you don't want to speed and you don't want to slide the left front tire getting onto pit road or into your pit box, because if it gets a flat spot on it, you're either going to have to change it or it's going to vibrate.
I knew it was a low number, Henry. I just didn't know what it was.
We haven't ever tried this. Haven't even been on the track at speed other than 1 lap of qualifying.
Well, that's it. There has been no practice and just single car, single lap qualifying.
Hey, have hope.
So entering pit road at speed.
Jax, have hope.
Well, you're going to go to the end of the grandstands, I'd say, and from there you just
You're exactly right, Boneball. I was just getting ready to say, you got to watch, make sure that with all the shuffling that comes coming to pit road, that
when you need to do this green
you don't
flag
see any
pit
wrecks
stop.
coming
But
to pit
the most
road.
interesting thing is the strategies were laid out before the race started, and the only ones who really know are the engineers, the crew chief, and the driver. The driver's
Gotta be
probably
careful.
got a sticker somewhere in the car that he's untaped and uncovered, and that way he knows when they're going to pit, so they don't have to say it on the radio.
I'm so glad you just said that. And that being said, 12 Chevys, 4 Fords, 5 Toyotas, and they're all over the place. They're not really forming and trying to connect. I don't see it. What are they going to do?
Well, I think they're all trying to strategize on just putting themselves in position to make sure that they can get to pit row when they need to.
Like I said.
And make sure that they have enough gas. And sometimes if you're saving gas,
5 of the top
you can
7
spend a
right
little less
now.
time on pit road.
Well, it could be this
They
time.
weren't good.
Led by Ricky Stenhouse, and listen
They
to his
weren't
radio.
good single file qualifying, but
Keep saving fuel like you're doing. Keep doing that. As far as the fuel save and making up ground, you're fine.
Wait a minute. save fuel and make up ground.
Well, what he wants to do is they want to have a quicker pit stop, so when they come to pit road, they can spend less time putting that fuel can in there, and they're.
Well, the window's going to open with 20 to go, lap 40. So that's when the window's. What they're saying, the window's going to open. So look here, probably within the next lap or two.
Definitely not 100%. So usually it's going to be somewhere around 70.
And you don't want to pit too early,
depending on where you are in the pack.
Well, right now, the
depending
happiest
on who comes
driver in
with
Daytona is Eric Jones' teammate Jimmy Johnson right alongside him. I don't imagine Johnson got much sleep last night, as those Toyotas did not show speed in qualifying, but Jimmy is running the top 5 almost this entire race in that tribute to the king, Richard Petty, number 84. That's Richard's
Petty
4
blue
on the car, and it is Petty blue. And look at the hood, 510 horsepower. NASCAR officials used to make you paint the horsepower rating on the hood of each race car. That was way back in the day.
Well, Jimmy's been really aggressive as well, Clint, with his pushing and everything that he's done. I thought with the cars that he had to beat that he might not be that aggressive, but he's just gone right after it.
Jimmy's loving what he sees, what he feels.
Well, so far, Johnson hasn't had a threat to that position. He's kind of hovered right around 15th, 16th since he got into the pack.
With a good hot rod under him, right?
Yep. Pit stops.
Here comes some jockeying.
See them dropping to the bottom?
Starting to move to the bottom. You see Toyota's Ty Gibbs in front of
Might be seeing pit stops this time.
Position to make this pit stop, and he come off of 4.
Yep, here they come. Oh, Reagan! Reddick, nice save!
And there was a scrape up there.
Tyler, what a save!
Dylan up on track as 4 cars get to
that could have been a lot worse than what it was.
Wow, what a save. What a last minute.
What a save.
Ditch effort down to the pit road. That was close.
Fuel only.
That thing was sideways sideways coming off the track onto the apron.
And be able to establish a tight draft right away.
Nice save, Tyler.
It may have caught the competition off guard, but it wasn't efficient.
That's 4 Toyotas, the 2 legacy cars,
and there's only 4 of them.
1 Gibbs car and 1 23XI car.
Comes the leaders off of 4. See if anybody else pits here. Staying out.
No,
the only Toyota that didn't pit there was Truex.
Only 2. Now that's got to be a miscue.
So what's happening right now is these guys know that those guys had trouble getting on the pit road, so they may run as long as they can, like they did in last year's
Dylan and Stenhouse.
Stenhouse and Dylan may have damage from that scuffle coming off turn 4 the last lap. Regan?
Mike, that's exactly right. They weren't ready until that scuffle happened. All of a sudden, his guys jumped up on the wall. They just asked him, do you need 2 or 4 tires? He said 2. It's all on the right side. And then you see Ricky Stenhouse Jr. behind him. He's been saving fuel the whole time. Hopefully, they got enough.
It's a pair of Chevrolets.
Problematic because they don't exactly leave pit road together. Should find each other and.
Now this whole group that's up here are probably all going to come together.
I don't know how that communication happened, but it happened too late. Yeah. Obviously, there was some guys that didn't get the information.
Not getting yet. I'm kind of surprised that they are not coming yet.
Forces that whole group into a mess.
Jamie?
Well, I was listening to Martin Truex radio there, and he said, are we pitting? They said no pit. He said, we're not pitting. They said no pit. And then you saw that miscommunication. Truex tried to get out of the way, and he came on the radio and said, what the heck was that? What did I just do?
Yeah, and sometimes that can be the problem with trying to coordinate everything when you're trying to get everybody on the same page. And Martin was trying to make a gap to get those Toyotas to pit road, but he made the gap for Ty Gibbs, and then there was no gap for Tyler Reddick to get down, and Tyler came down anyway thinking that he could get in there, and it just caused some chaos.
See if this group comes this time.
You need just enough.
Nope.
Too many cars, and it creates chaos, and I think that's exactly what we saw.
2 more to pit road this time, toward the tail end of the pack.
Let's see what happened again.
So let's have a look here at what happened when that first group came to pit road off turn number 4. Wow.
Yeah, it was Gillen that got into the back of Reddick.
Yeah, and it was just Truex trying to let him in, and Tyler started to come down. And
no, that was Truex into the back of
Gillen
Reddick.
And Dylan on the outside.
Gillen got a little bit of.
Dylan moves up, squeezes him into the wall.
Gillen might have a little bit of fender rub there. I mean, no, Dylan did.
Who got into the back of Tyler Reddick there?
That wasn't a caution beyond me. It was a caution. It just didn't happen.
And it didn't look like Martin Truex was going to come to pit road, did it?
It was a wreck that nobody spun.
Yeah.
Comes the rest of them.
Yep.
Josh.
Careful, don't speed.
And for the one of Ross Chastain, they told him if the 5 pits, you pit 4 seconds of fuel, and they'll be good to go. Jamie?
Same for Martin Truex Jr.
That's a good little group. If they stay together,
no tires here for Truex. Regan.
It's probably the biggest group I've seen that's pitted together.
Now, on the radio, he is very happy with the race car. Hasn't said anything other than handling is very good.
And disaster for Martin Truex. He was stopped in his pit for a long time. The car launched, stalled. They had to push it, and he has
Go for
lost
Truex.
the draft.
And arguably, Martin Truex Jr. had the fastest car, and Clint, that's what happens as we see the
There's the
Fords
last
coming to
group
pit road
coming.
now.
It's these 4 Fords.
It's kind of like, all right, you boys all had your fun. Here we come. All together. And by the way, was that Ross Chastain who was nabbed for speeding?
Sure was.
Yes, it was.
Yep, Chastain speeding.
Too fast exiting.
Lack of practice. A lot of mistakes. Easy to do.
So it looks like Larson is going to retake the lead
So
here.
Joey Logano will surrender the lead with this green flag pit stop. He and Todd Gilliland.
But this is going to be interesting because it's only a two car group here, basically a 4-car group. Then you have a little more of a pack here that I think is being led by Johnson.
In the middle of that pack,
Toyotas.
Chevrolets up in the front, and now you've got the gap from the second and third place car that's going to close up pretty quick. But
They're going to close
this
these
field is spread
Fords.
out, Clint.
These guys are really spread out, though. Logano currently being shown as the leader.
Yeah, you saw him
Even though
right
he is
there
going to
on
get
the pit
past
stop. He
here.
stalled it, and he said, "See, I told you guys I was out of fuel."
Well, so Logano trying to get up to speed after his pit stop just gets inhaled by those 4 cars that roll right past him.
Well, he did a pretty good job, Mike, because your job when you come out of the pits like that is to just get in their way down the
Yeah,
back
you got
straightaway.
3 manufacturer
Joey Logano's
groups,
gonna wind
too.
up
Look at this.
Not too far behind with
3
what looks like
4-car
to be Todd
groups.
Gilliland right behind him.
Toyota, Ford, Chevrolet.
Line on the outside coming.
You can't script that.
Jimmy Johnson
Look at that.
leading the charge.
You cannot script that. 3 different groups, all 3 are the manufacturers. Manufacturers.
Reddick going through.
Toyotas all together, Fords all together, and the
cushion.
freaking
Over
Chevrolets.
J.J. had quite a cushion over J.J. Yaley. You see him falling on the scoring pylon. If Yaley is the first of those open cars to finish, he makes the Daytona 500, Johnson would go home.
And I don't think Jimmy Johnson was expecting those Toyotas to leave him like that, but Ty Gibbs definitely pulled out and left Jimmy Johnson by himself.
We may still have a race here, boys.
13
We may
laps
still have
to
a
go.
race here.
Martin Truex goes from the lead to losing the draft after running out of fuel.
Yeah. Johnson is all but locked in. There's only one way that Johnson doesn't make this show. Yaley finishes highest in this duel. McLeod finishes highest in the second duel. And that isn't happening. That isn't happening. I'm not saying it isn't impossible. It's not impossible.
It made me feel like
It's definitely impractical.
This product has changed my life. When it kicked in, I said, yeah, I'm back. I remember this feeling. Get started today at 4hims.com.
Just because a hotel says it's dog-friendly doesn't mean a dog will find it very friendly.
Yeah, well, if Johnson makes the race, may want to at least have the razor ready.
That's friendly for everyone.
Michigan State! Exclamation point! Battle rivals Michigan. What a jam! Fox Primetime Hoops, Saturday at 8 Eastern.
No one wants
But Gibbs and Reddick are away from Johnson now. The only way Johnson would be involved in a wreck with Reddick and Gibbs at this point is if he couldn't avoid a wreck that started him to.
These are the stories of kids that were bullied. 1 in 5 have experienced this in school. So the NFL is working to give them the tools to create healthier relationships.
We've helped more than 2 million students. Together, we can help even more at characterplaybook.com.
I'm sorry, but given the track record of Duel 1, if we're going to see a wreck, it's going to be in Duel 2. It's not going to be in Duel 1.
Shot is the best way to prevent the flu and is potentially
Just,
serious complications.
I'm looking at the track record of the Duel races. So, not saying we can't come back to it, but
Fox Primetime Hoops. Get out of here! Tyson Walker leads the Spartans. as they fight for a season sweep over their bitter rival, while Coach Howard's Wolverines have their sights set on payback. Bam! Michigan State.
Well, we'll see. I mean, the track record is Duel 2 tends to be the wilder race, so we'll see.
To connect again and catch one another.
Do it again, Rick. I'm timing you out. This is the blanket warning for everybody. Watch spoilers.
You see the 9 car come up. You see the flames come out of the
if you don't see it on screen,
right here,
don't say anything about it.
The flames come out and it checks the whole lineup.
4 wide.
Yes.
They start checking up. Accordion. Stenhouse gets in the back of Hamrick, and then the worst one was Jimmy Johnson. Now I will say, not much
Johnson
damage
was involved.
He doesn't have a lot of damage, Clint, but if we can get a shot of the right front of Jimmy Johnson's car, it's going to come
Hamrick is the one that
down
took the
to how
most
low
damage
that
in
splitter is,
that.
but you see all these cars check up, and Jimmy Johnson's at the back of the field, and they just check up.
Yeah, Stenhouse got in the back of Hamrick.
And just gets into the side of the 3 as they're trying to avoid the 31.
On from there.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad.
Hamrick's definitely going to a backup.
A little bump from Stenhouse was all it took to get Daniel Hemrick turned to the right into the wall.
Yeah, and that's no fault of Stenhouse there. He's just at the back of the accordion.
Well, this is the blanket warning for everybody. If you don't see it on here, don't say anything about it. I'm trying to keep it for the ones that this is the only way that they can watch it, though. So, well, the question is how much damage is done to the car. Can he keep pace enough to beat Yaley? His only concern is to beat Yaley in this race. That's all he has to worry about.
Coming to 10 to go. Coming to 10 to go.
He has to beat Yaley.
And guys, I can't tell you how hard it is coming off that banking onto those skid blocks underneath the car. You see his head bouncing around. These cars are very violent when you wreck, and these guys are taking big shots that you can really see in that camera angle.
Again, it was just all the groups coming together from that green flag pit stop that basically had essentially 3 groups. They all merged together.
Yeah.
They were coming on them fast.
They're still around.
Had to check up, big checkups, blocks, 4 wide.
Now, all the cars involved will be in the Daytona 500 with the possible exception of Jimmy Johnson. That's the only open car that was involved. The other 3 are all chartered teams, so they're guaranteed in the race. Larry?
Yeah, I mean, Mike, what they have to do is just keep that 84 car on the lead lap, try to make the repairs. Remember, the only car they're truly racing is the 44 of J.J. Yaley. That's who they're racing for this spot.
Now for Yaley's team, this is like smelling life, smelling blood in the water. You know, hey, I got life now.
Of the Blue-Green Vacations Duel at Daytona.
Everything we build is from the ground up. Every great idea, every next idea.
If you're Yaley's team, you gotta
everything we have into our trucks, so you get everything out of them. Trucks are what
do something.
We do.
This is the game in its purest form. The rivalries stay true, and the power of the upset is real.
Well, the field is frozen where he blends in, and he was so far ahead of Yaley, that's why he's ahead of Yaley on track. Obviously, they pit they're going to be behind Yaley, but...
What if finding a new job wasn't such a leap of faith?
I don't think I'm right for this. I said I don't think I'm right for the job.
You're perfect for it! What if you knew you'd be paid fairly? Check this out. Because you could literally see what the job pays. What if your schedule worked for you, and her, and them? And what if the promise of better work
No way!
was something that found us?
I got the interview.
This is Rochelle, who gives you a shot. Rebecca is there when you feel not so hot. This is Larissa, who's feeling grown up. And this here is Winnie, who zhuzhed up their cup. This is Victoria, helping women stay healthy. These are your kids, snacking snacks made with veggies.
Well, so far they haven't shown it. I mean, I'm not saying they can't. And honestly, the fact that what we saw out of the 34 team in last night's single car qualifying means, you know, that the Cinderella moment could be there, but you got to definitely get up on that wheel now.
Listen to me. Hot dog diet got me shredded.
Keep your mouth shut. You'll sleep better.
The world is full of health experts. It's time we listen to science. One-A-Day is formulated with B vitamins to help convert food into fuel. One-A-Day, science that matters.
And hey, it doesn't matter by how much you make it. All that matters is that you make it. Doesn't matter if you make it by a mile or a half a car.
When the Great American
You made
Race
it.
returns Sunday, 2:30 Eastern, only on Fox. Who'll be in it?
God.
Who'll have a chance to win it? Now look at our scoring pylon.
That's
not shown is Anthony Alfredo first, because he was the.
That's
first
a
of the
loaded
open
question,
cars in
Anderson,
qualifying last
because
night. Jimmy Johnson was second. J.J. Yaley was third. In the
I'd have to
scenario
actually
we
think
have
about
right
that.
now, Yaley would make
There's a lot I watch.
500.
That's why it's hard for
Johnson
me
would go
to
home. If Johnson passes him,
just
he's
pick
in the
one.
race,
You know.
either racing his way
I
in
want
or
to say
falling
right
back to his
now,
qualifying time if Alfredo gets
if he's
past
in here, it's what if.
Yaley's only chance to be in the 500 is to stay.
Nah, I think it is what if
Johnson
racing
and Anthony
over
Alfredo.
Michael. They're the top two easily.
And now there's only 7 laps to go. So
If you're talking
Jimmy
out of
knows
the
he has to go
podcast
forward. JJ
guys,
Yaley knows he has
I
to
love
go
Darian,
and stay
but Slap's
where he is or
probably,
go
I was going to say,
forward.
Slap's
And
probably the
everybody
best
else wants to try to win this race.
if you're
And right in the
looking
middle of all
for
that
someone who
is
has
Joey
the
Logano trying to protect
background
his car
knowledge
to
of the
stay on the
sport.
front row, where he
I love what he's doing
Jimmy
now, his
Johnson
series
dropped
with
to the back of the lead draft to try to protect his car, and we saw how that worked.
I love his going to these, smaller tracks
here
and profiling these smaller tracks.
4 wide's tough here, Clint.
That's closer than I want to be, especially when I got to call Roger Penske and tell him he ain't going to believe this, boss. I can't deliver on that pole. All right. If you're a Jimmy Johnson fan, we're not out of this thing. I don't think the damage, old Debbie Downer here, Kevin, thought it had more damage on it.
Six laps to go when we get the green.
It's fine. We just got to, all right, we got to choose cone rule.
Yaley currently is the highest running open
We
car.
got to pass him. Got to get in front of him, Kevin.
Well, right now, the first thing I can tell you is
Johnson does have his speed to fall back on, but that would be if Alfredo makes the locked-in spot.
Chose our lane
not
here,
Yaley.
so we gotta just start at the tail of where they are. So he has
this could be a little deal biter. I mean,
44 quickly, but as fast
and
as
also we've got a race to settle too.
I think he can do it.
Larson, who's never won a dual race. Suarez has never won a dual race.
Left tailpipe of Jimmy Johnson's car.
In fact, Elliott and Logano are the only ones in the top 6 that have won a dual race.
Yeah.
It'll be 6
There
to
we
go.
go.
And they
6
go
to
back
go.
the line.
Duel 1.
And the race is 44 J.J. Yaley. The Aqua car against Jimmy Johnson's blue number 84. One of them will make the 500.
We've seen how good this 5 car can push. Now it's time to see how good another.
The outside lane was good on the initial restart of the race. We'll see if what they're going to do here. Teammates up top. Suarez looking to keep it close on the inside.
All
Does.
it takes is one little mishap. It really shakes a race up. Look what we've seen now.
Yeah, and you see the flames coming out of that 54.
I also notice what I see behind those 2 cars on the inside. Look at the 3 Fords. Haven't seen much of them yet in this duel.
Outside third lane.
There they are.
Haven't heard much of him.
5 to go in duel 1.
5 laps to go. All bets are off.
You see the lines tied there. Johnson just barely ahead of Yaley.
We talk about everything that he has as we go.
Which line do you want? Inside, outside?
Ty Gibbs' Monster Energy Toyota.
I don't know, I think there's a lot of potential on that inside when you got Ty Gibbs and Joey Logano on that inside. Two aggressive pushers.
Second on the inside lane.
Ooh,
big pushes on this
they got a little stacked up there on the top.
A lot of points on the line.
So you have a little bit of an edge to Suarez, but Larson stays along.
And he will start from the pole.
Ty Gibbs is having
4 to go.
trouble staying steady on the back bumper of Suarez.
And it's still close for that lock-in spot.
4 laps
Yaley ahead.
Johnson has caught Yaley.
No help on that bottom.
He's got no help. He's got to get that 38 behind him if he's going to get any help to get to Yaley.
One of them will make the 500. And Yaley knows it. He's been a little aggressive.
Yeah, like I say, Yaley knows it.
Trying to keep Johnson behind. Whoa,
yeah, he has to do what he's got to do. Battle's still up front.
His teammate Chase Elliott right behind in the outside.
Actually, Larson's best friend is his teammate at this point.
3 to go.
And we talked about Kyle Larson earlier, Clint, just how well he could push, and now we see Chase Elliott.
3 to go.
That's kind of a little bit away from what they've done in the past because they've been so fast in qualifying, but it sure looks like they can be a lot more aggressive in race trim here.
Hendrick Motorsports has won 16 dual races, tied with Richard Childress.
Johnson may have the. I think he just got him there. Just got back by him. Now Yaley going to try to come back.
Coming back on the outside.
But he's blocked in by Chastain.
That's the race that counts right there.
Neither car with any help behind him. That more importantly, they need somebody behind him. We know on super speedways,
there's nobody left.
No. They're frantically
outside
trying to get another
up a
car
little
past
bit.
Somebody behind them, because that's all your insurance.
Well, and as we come to 2 to go here, you see how
the 38 car could be what determines who makes this race. The 38 car of Gilliland could decide who makes it.
Things are going to change. Let's hear some 84 audio.
Need help from the 43. I need that slot up there. Outside. They're telling him, man. I know they're screaming at him outside.
43 is Eric Jones. He is Jimmy Johnson's teammate. But is he in a
the battle's on up front. Suarez still hanging alongside Larson. No clear advantage.
Larson and Suarez.
Johnson's got a car length on Yaley.
Then Logano. And here they come to the white
flag. 1 to go. Last lap.
There'll be 1 lap to go.
Who wins the race? Who makes the race?
Yeah, we saw the middle of the pack there, Joey Logano.
Last lap, duel 1.
These cars are all stuffed up against each other, and they know they have to push and shove, but the handling on the 22 is definitely tight.
And that tight, you said Joey Logano got tied off of 4, really slowed that lineup on the bottom. Hendrick car strong on its outside.
Chase crossed over his teammate.
Johnson is going to have to make his own lane.
Larson comes back on the top with Hocevar. Larson clear. Reddick. Reddick the P2. Look at Reddick. Where'd Reddick come from? From almost wrecking. Oh, Bowman got into Larson. Johnson.
Got Larson loose.
It's going to be close coming back. Reddick's going to win it. Reddick is in. Reddick wins it. And Johnson is in.
For Toyota.
And Jimmy Johnson.
Johnson's in. Reddick wins the duel.
Look at him.
He did it.
That all
wow.
Turn 4 to the start finish.
How did Reddick win that race?
Boy, that was close. What a race.
How did Reddick win that race? Where'd he come from? Where the hell did Reddick come from?
That outside. Chase made the first move, went to the bottom. I thought that was the right move, and then here comes Bowman on the outside helping Larson. A little bit too much help right in the middle of the corner.
How about Reddick's slice and squeeze?
I was going to say, where did Reddick come from?
Well, it's all about the timing of getting yourself in front of the right line, and sometimes you make the right moves and sometimes you don't. But
where did he come from? I looked up, I thought it was the 77 that was still behind the 5, and,
and that outside
and I realized, oh no, it's Reddick.
As soon as Tyler Reddick feels like he's clear, he goes to the bottom and takes that momentum and side draft off the 5 car to take the lead.
And what did I say about Toyota?
3 Hendrick Chevys right there, but couldn't.
What did I say about Toyota?
Yeah, and Alex Bowman got into the back.
Reddick wins the duel 1.
And that pretty much sealed the deal for Tyler Reddick. But all that checkup is what got Jimmy Johnson back in the race, because the 44 car of J.J. Yaley was on the outside.
All right, let's watch the 84. Jimmy Johnson.
Here's the last lap.
Yeah, and you just, everything checked up and
held behind him, stayed in line,
to the outside,
and kept help behind him.
Yaley had momentum. He had to go to the outside. That was his one shot, but nobody went with him.
That was an experienced move by a 7-time champion. About ready.
Yaley got kind of held up by Chastain. Chastain, I think, was the one that really
the rookie
decided that.
Make a lot of noise this year.
Saw his boss man. I was picking the kids up today.
That was a fun little finish too.
Look at that airplane right there. It's awesome. It was Michael Jordan's. That means he's here to see his boy win. First duel.
Yeah, that was a fun little race. Also, 4 people. Congrats on your channel points in Duel 1. Obviously, I'll have the same one once we get going in Duel 2. Probably do it about the same time, about 15, about 20.
The line and made the 500.
That was pretty good. That was way more pressure than I ever wanted. Yeah. Good job, guys. Thank you.
And J.J. Yaley gave it a great fight,
if Toyota could go,
had that energy and made the only move he could, came up just that much short. Regan Smith.
Well, Tyler Reddick seemingly out of nowhere at the end of that race. You start 19th, you finish first. How good does it feel to go into the weekend with this win in the duel?
Yeah, it's a great way to start off the weekend. Man, this thing is a beast, and it's a great way to kick off the brand new product that SUV's got. So go out and get some hard.
From almost wrecking coming to pit road to winning the duel
Tyler Reddick wins duel number 1.
And Jimmy
Daytona
Johnson,
for
he
you.
was nervous coming in, never been in this situation before, Jimmy. It almost looked like you were out of it, and then you weren't. Can you put this race into perspective for us?
I can. I've never been in a position like this before, and I have such a greater appreciation for everyone before me that's tried to race their way in. And although there's only 6 more cars, I know at one time there were many more, but it's very stressful. Very thankful that we got this Carvana Toyota in the race. I knew the first half of the race was going too easy. I knew there'd be a challenge thrown at us, and we got it just in time. So hats off to J.J. Yaley, put up a heck of a fight, had a very competitive car, and we were just in the right spot at the right time when the checkered fell.
Congratulations, Jimmy Johnson, Daytona 500 for the 21st time in his career, Mike.
Thanks, Jamie. And I agree. I'm a J.J. Yaley fan. That was one heck of a battle.
And if you couldn't hear the adrenaline and emotion in Jimmy Johnson's voice, you weren't paying attention. But I tell you, that's something he's never been through before in his life.
Duel 1 goes to Tyler Reddick, but we're only
Well,
halfway through.
That's only halfway.
For Sunday's Daytona.
We're only halfway done, boys. We still got 1 more to go.
They said it couldn't be done. They said the world would never accept a cookie this long. Or pretzel, and probably not a churro. They also said on the no
Also, I'll probably jump in the Discord after the race. Maybe do some screen share.
But we already made them, and they are.
So.
Introducing the incredible new foot-long size.
Also, I will ask that if you're going to join the Discord, please join with the username that I can recognize. Just so I know it isn't just some random that joined, it's somebody I know from here, you know. That way it helps me know who's on and who isn't.
You were made to dream about it for years. We were made to help you book it in minutes.
At Metro, get a new iPhone 12 with 5G. Take amazing pictures and share instantly. You don't take yada yada in life like knockoff sneakers. Don't take yada yada from your wireless provider. Join Metro and get a new iPhone 12 with 5G for only $99.99 with no contracts, no.
At least I know who you are.
Yada, yada. Only at Metro.
Healthier means taking the first step on your mental health.
Bumble, if you join my Discord, your name has to be Bumble's OnlyFans alt account. Or Bumble OnlyFans, or something like that.
Reports of raccoons in bowling alley.
Truck 12, 2 minutes out.
Word of caution, the raccoons appear to be inebriated.
All these guys 21?
Animal Control returns Wednesday, March 6th on Fox.
Spring football.
Like I said, on the Discord, I basically will post the link when I do the others. But,
The Great American Race. The Daytona 500, Sunday at 2:30 Eastern on Fox.
I know he had to be stressed up until the finish, you know. I'll probably go rewatch his reaction maybe later, but I'm sure he had to be stressed up until the end. It shouldn't be too long.
Well, how about that? First race of Daytona weekend is in the books. What a wild one it was. Congratulations to Tyler Reddick getting his first dual win, the two-time Xfinity Series champion celebrating there with his son. Going to put him in the car. What a moment. That's what this sport is all about. Hi, everyone. Shannon Spake, Trevor Bayne, Jamie McMurray. Both these guys have won the Daytona 500. Tyler Reddick started all the way in the back of the field. He started 19th on this, and we talked in the pre-race show that you could start anywhere you need to, but just be there at the end, and that's what he did.
Yeah, he almost was not there at the end.
I will, Finn. I'm planning on doing the rest of the events of at least Daytona weekend. So you'll see the truck race here. Planning to, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, but I'm going to try to do ARCA and Xfinity, and then obviously
he qualified 36th
the
yesterday,
500.
all the way towards the back of the field. And we talked about in the pre-race, like, is Toyota in trouble? They don't seem to have the speed, but their cars raced really well. We saw all those guys drive right to the front.
I figured he
early
was.
on in that, and Tyler made the right decision at the right time and was able to get it done.
By the way, you don't think Trevor Bayne is sweet and innocent? I just sat next to him for a speedway
what I
race.
say about Toyota.
It was wild. It was a lot of fun.
Don't sleep on them just because of the qualifying
Take a look at
laps.
how duel number one went.
And sure enough, Toyota wins the race. Toyota won the duel.
He won the pole for the Daytona 500.
And he was my pick to win.
So keep an eye on those Toyotas for the 500
This was
though.
when the Toyotas all decided to come to pit road. We see Martin Truex Jr. didn't know they were coming to pit
Hard to
road.
believe
They actually
Reddick went
told him that they
from
were
almost
outpitting,
junking it.
Almost caused a huge wreck. Had a little bit of contact there with Austin Dillon.
Victory.
And then Trevor, when he did get to pit road, stalled the engine leaving.
Yeah, we know this is one thing you cannot do at Daytona. You stall the race car, you're in jeopardy of losing a lap. Fortunately for him, though, this incident happens. Collects the 84 of Jimmy Johnson, who was racing.
Yeah, that's Trevor.
Which made for a
It's Trevor, Jamie, and
watch at the end of this.
Yeah, and Hemrick was just an innocent victim there. We saw those cars get checked up, and Harvick
I
mentioned
forget
this
her
an
name now.
accordion effect. But here you see the last
God.
lap going to the win. Reddick is able to hold off Chase Elliott. And part of that, this was the battle that we were watching as this was going on. Jimmy Johnson stays in line. J.J. Yeley pulled out, ended up not being the right decision, and the seven-time champ's going to get to race on Sunday.
Yeah, we heard from Jimmy Johnson. There's always two sides to a battle like that. J.J. Yeley did not advance to the Daytona 500, and he's with Jamie Little.
Well, you've got the thrill of advancing in this race.
No,
and
that's
then
not
you
Voda.
have J.J. Yeley, who just
Not
misses
Krista
it.
Voda.
I know you've been in this a long time, but what were those moments like racing against Jimmy Johnson for that last spot?
I mean, obviously it was exciting. I was worried when they dropped the green that we were going to have a hard time keeping up with the draft. Hendrick put this car together. It drove fantastic, had a lot of speed in the draft. And, like I said, we're just riding, taking my time. I had to be on the outside, the inside. It killed my momentum. Then obviously what happened in the 84, got a caution, got a break. The car just didn't have good acceleration and restarts. But, side by side, coming to, 2-3 to go, thought we were in really good shape. Going into turn 3, I mean, I'm not counting my chickens, but I was getting close, and then saw there was some contact. Someone in the middle lost a lot of momentum, and I just made a split-second decision to go to the outside, try to carry the momentum, clear him, at least make the racetrack too wide to where he couldn't pass. And he stayed in the middle. The 19 pushed him. The momentum just carried him all the way to the checker flag, and you know, it sucks. And, you know, 2 years ago we were close and just couldn't get it.
Oh, what a bummer. I want to see Jimmy Johnson's heart rate monitor from those final races.
Me too.
We all had our heart rate high. We're going to continue to do that the rest of the night. Duel number 1 in the books. Duel number 2 coming up.
Nothing stops a DR field and brush mower. Thick grass and weeds, out-of-control brush, even 3-inch thick trees are no match for America's favorite brush mower. Lock it in and rip it up.
Yeah, 1 down, 1 to go.
And get the job done right.
Shop the sale today. All DR field and brush mower models are now on sale, and free shipping is in effect. Hurry, this offer won't last.
Pretty
That's
crazy ending.
drfieldbrush.com.
Hey, Jim. I will definitely get those to you first thing Monday. Bye.
Conquer the weekend in the all-new Hyundai Santa Fe.
Sí, ¿vos de qué parte sos?
Yo de aquí.
Ah, mira.
I was standing, you were there, 2 worlds collided, and they could never tear us apart.
There's nothing better than the Subway Series footlong, except when you add an all-new footlong sidekick, like the $2 footlong churro covered in cinnamon sugar deliciousness, or the $3 footlong pretzel, salted and baked to perfection, honey mustard shot, and let's not forget the $5 gooey footlong chocolate chip cookie. What's your favorite, Clay?
You're my favorite sidekick. No, you're my favorite sidekick.
We'll get back to him later. Every epic footlong deserves a perfect sidekick.
Nothing scary about Energizer Ultimate Lithium, the #1 longest-lasting AA battery.
21 drivers know their fate in the Great American Race on Sunday. We got 21 more to go in the Duel number 2. Josh Sims standing by with our 2020 champ Chase Elliott, who finished second.
Chase Elliott comes home second in Duel number 1. What more did you need there at the end to come home with the win?
I actually thought our Napa Chevy was pretty good. I mean, all things considered, you know, we're locked in from qualifying setup-wise and stuff. So I thought our car drove pretty good, considering everything that you try to do to go fast for a lap. So I was pleased. I thought we had a good night of execution, put ourselves in a good position there, and you know, came up a little short. But I thought overall it was a solid effort, and you know, kept the car in one piece, which is a big deal, I feel like, for Sunday. So looking forward to it.
Thanks, Chase. Good luck.
And Chase Elliott finishing second, teammate Bowman finishing third. Right there, you got William Byron. He's getting ready for Duel number 2. He is going to roll off third in that race. We'll be right back here on Race Day.
At Jersey Mike's, they freshly grill your hot subs right in front of you. You can't get that smell anywhere else unless you have one of these. Don't mind me. Take the sizzle to go. Grilled right in front of you. It's a Jersey Mike's thing.
At Metro, get a new iPhone 12 with 5G. Take amazing pictures and share instantly. You don't take yada yada in life like knockoff sneakers. Don't take yada yada from your wireless provider. Join Metro and get a new iPhone 12 with 5G for only $99.99 with no contracts, no activation fees, and nada yada yada. Only at Metro.
Healthier is not something that happens all alone. It takes Greg and Lydia and Josie on the phone. It's Grammy getting checked on in her favorite chair, or darling herself up to go handle all
want a trimmed tree and an unfractured coccyx. Sadly, we can't have it all. Except at Sport Clips, where we check in with the pros in men's hair and totally check out with pure, uninterrupted relaxation. Sport Clips.
Start with a bang. Mix in some superstar power and turn them loose. That's the Great American Race. The Daytona 500, Sunday at 2:30 Eastern on Fox.
Creighton, bam! Butler. Then Marquette takes on top-ranked UConn. What a game! It's a huge doubleheader, Saturday on Fox.
Twenty-one drivers are ready to go in Duel 2. Regan Smith is standing by with one of them.
Bubba Wallace getting ready to climb aboard the number 23
you want me to make a
start
creepy face? I'll make a
Duel
creepy
number
face.
2 here in just a moment, but quite an active foul by your teammate right there. It seemed like it came from nowhere tonight.
Yeah, that was good. Great job to the 45 crew. I wasn't stressed at all, but everybody was counting out the Toyotas after qualifying. Doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you finish. So Tyler capitalized on that, so congrats to them. But Jimmy Jam getting in, how about that? Jimmy and a Toyota, I love it. So shaping up to be a good night. We'll see what our McDonald's Toyota Camry can do. Got a lot to learn with the new body, but should be another stroll in the park.
Adds that confidence, seeing how good the Toyotas were in that first duel. They came to the front quick.
Yeah, for sure. You know, we try to come up with a game plan. This is a what-if race. These speedway races are what-ifs, right? So it's always changing on the fly. But, yeah, we just got to lock in here. Got a few fast Toyotas in our group, so we'll be fine.
Bubba Wallace getting ready for duel number 2 in a minute.
Thank you so much, Regan. All of the what-ifs are going to be answered in about 60
Hey,
laps.
what
Right now,
if?
we're
You
gonna
got
go
a shout out
trackside
on the
for commands
broadcast.
To start engine in Duel 2.
Daytona International Speedway, are you ready to get duel number 2 started? Here to give the command to fire engines from Blue Green Vacations, please welcome Vice President of Sales and Marketing, Nancy Sampson and Leslie Jewell.
Drivers, start your engines!
All right.
What do we think the chances that duel number 2 are going to be just as crazy as duel number 1?
Very good chances.
Yes?
Race number
Stick
2.
around to watch all of the laps because it is coming up next, right after the break.
There's your biggie bag.
Duel 1 saw last lap pass. Can we go 2 for 2 in last lap passes?
Bag boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when we bring your food?
Go biggie and get all this with the JBC for just $5.
Yeah, Gralla and McLeod. One of them's gonna make it.
Shopping online for a Purple mattress? We get it. With Purple's unique
One
gel
makes
flex
it, the other
grid
goes
and
home.
multiple foam layers, you'll experience effortless sleep. It's motion adaptive, temperature balanced, pressure relieving, and ultra supportive. But which Purple mattress is right for you? Come to Denver Mattress and test
I'm
for
just glad to
yourself.
be back. I'm ready
During
for.
Purple's President's Day
I'm
event,
ready for
save
this
up to
season, you know.
$800 on select mattress and adjustable base bundles.
Ready for this
Shop
season.
Purple at Denver Mattress.
Ready to be
Easiest
back.
way to find your perfect Purple.
Get back into the groove of things.
There's a kidnapping today. 28 people. The city bus just disappeared. There's kids on the bus. Don't make me shoot you.
Cutting corners, going rogue.
And yeah, just went down, so we'll do this. Bring her back up again.
There's nothing better than the Subway Series footlong, except when you add an all-new footlong sidekick, like the $2 footlong churro.
Actually, let me do this now. I'm gonna do this earlier than the last one I did. So that way,
And let's not forget the $5 gooey footlong chocolate chip cookie. What's your favorite, Clay?
You're my favorite sidekick.
Let's run it back.
No, you're my favorite sidekick.
We'll get back to him
I'll
later.
do 15 minutes on this one.
Every epic footlong deserves a perfect sidekick.
We want it all. We want beards.
There comes redemption for those that didn't get anything in the first one.
We want to be invited and not attend.
Great.
We want to take the shortcut
You lost?
and not be in danger.
Reverse.
Sadly, we can't have it all. Except at Sport Clips, where we check in with the pros in men's hair and totally check out with pure, uninterrupted relaxation. Sport Clips. It's a game changer.
Sí. ¿Vos de qué parte sos?
You de aquí.
Ah, mira.
I should think about getting a new phone. Nah.
Fired up. All right, boys, hit reset. Daytona 500. Ready?
My phone's still good.
3, 2, 1. Go kick some ass. Come on, come on.
Well, if I had done my own channel prediction, I would have lost. Because I said Chevy for the first race and Ford for the second one. And Toyota won the first one.
Outside lane
So,
of the starting lineup for Sunday's Daytona 500. Before he climbed aboard,
there's a lot of Fords in this one too. So,
Denny Hamlin.
Well, Denny Hamlin, one of those Toyotas
I mean,
qualified pretty far down last night. I know you guys.
This is
as an
my
organization were like, okay, that was a little
buddy.
worse than we were thinking. But now that you've seen one dual race, what's your impression of what you guys have with this model, with the speed and handling?
Zucker's
Yeah,
got
I mean,
me.
nothing alarming to me that
Been through a
makes
lot.
me think it's not capable of going out and winning on Sunday.
last
right?
time I
So,
got it, though, too.
it's probably
Had it for a
about
long
what we
time,
expected
too.
When we watched the race and saw that they, race well in the pack, I think the pack is always going to be a big equalizer to, drag and single car speed. So, looking forward to getting this FedEx Toyota on the track today and see what we got. I don't know. We're starting off full deep, but things will get moved around enough. Some air will get disturbed enough. We'll make some moves.
All right, Denny, have fun out there. Mike?
All right, let's take a look at the starting grid, sponsored by Blue Green Vacations. A pair of Fords on the front row and 2 of the last 3 Daytona 500 winners. Michael
Yep.
McDowell on pole and Austin Cindric outside.
Let's dial up that pole sitter. Hey, Michael McDowell, it's Boyer and the boys up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear.
Man, what a night last night. Fast, hot rod. Now we got it set on the front row, but we got to take care of it. How are we managing this? Need a lot to learn here. Points on the line, but we need to start on the front row.
Yeah, I love the fact that it's
Definitely that first duel is
well,
way
love.
more boring than what I was looking for.
Funny
but,
pun. I love the fact that it's 2 Fords, but it's 2 yellow Fords, yellow paint scheme Fords. That's just funny to me.
Oh, sorry, we've
It's,
lost
it,
Michael.
it's one enough that
To
they're
row number 2,
2 Fords,
a pair
but
of Chevrolets.
the fact they're
William
colored
Byron
the
for
same.
Team Hendrick and
You know?
Kyle Busch, a 3-time dual winner for Richard Childress Racing.
Let's dial him up. Hey, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick up in the Fox Sports booth. You've won this race 3 times. Tell us what's on your agenda tonight to learn about your car and try to get another win.
Is this like that time where we were doing tandem drafting and we could all talk to each other on the radio? Where the hell are you?
I'm trying to keep Boyer under control, and we're trying to tell a good story. So
Okay, Kyle, you won quote of the weekend so far.
It's about time somebody got up there to help that situation out. But no, I mean, for us, we just have to work hard.
You won quote of the weekend so far. Talking about the old tandem drafting where they could talk to each other.
Out front, get some feelings on it, and we want to keep our track.
Oh, I always like Kyle Hammer. I've never been a Kyle hater. I always liked Busch.
The zone Camaro's got speed, so let's go use it.
Again, he was
All right,
never
man,
a
well,
favorite
good
of
luck. Put on
mine,
the show
but
for us.
I always liked him because he was like Tony. He had some good. He's had some good one-liners.
Finished top 10 in both duels.
Good quotable
That
moments.
he's had, and the 15, Riley Herbst, Vegas boy.
Yeah, we've got row 4 with Chase Briscoe starting 7th, looking for his first dual win, and his teammate Noah Gragson running his first race ever in a Ford.
Row 5, Ryan Blaney is the defending Cup champion now. He won a duel in 2018. And A.J. Allmendinger, full-time
Yeah,
in the
he won the
series
most
last
laps
year,
in that
part-time this
2018
year.
500 too.
And a little more on Ryan Blaney, our defending champion. He has a new spotter this year, Tim Fedewa. He's very well known with Kevin Harvick. He was his spotter for a long time, so he is his eyes on the roof. And I talked to Tim just moments ago, and he said, hey, we've done some video together, we've listened to each other, but there's nothing like being in a race and listening to one another and learning what we need. So they've got a lot going on between each other, all while trying to win this race. Mike?
Row 6, Josh Berry steps into the number 4. It's his first dual start.
I think Blaney's my
Brad
sister's
Keselowski,
age.
2022 dual winner. Here's Josh.
My sister turned 30 last year, so
Brad Keselowski was putting a heavy focus on duel number 2 tonight, and Brad is a guy that no
I
matter
think if
where
Blaney's a 93
has a knack
birthday,
for finding his way
it's
towards the
my
front
sister's
at Daytona.
my sister's a 93 birthday.
But yet to get a win. Crew Chief Matt McCall says they'll
The
use
birth year,
tonight
I
to
should
get
say.
a feel for the car and how it handles in the draft, and then hope that they can have a finish like they had in the Daytona summer race last year, where they finished 1-2 with Buescher and Keselowski.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard not to pick a Ford, at least in this dual race, because they definitely have the numbers here. But then again, as we just saw in the other dual race, Chevrolet had the numbers, but it was Toyota that ended up the winner.
Had a lot of success here. 2019 July Daytona winner.
Not by much, Bumble.
16th.
Not by much.
Bell, who's been runner-up in this race twice.
Way back in the 9th row, that's where Denny Hamlin, a 3-time dual winner, will start his Toyota. And Zane Smith, a rookie, raced his way into the 500 last year. Regan.
Well, Mike, Jamie just mentioned that Ryan Blaney has a new spotter this year. Where did Ryan Blaney's championship spotter, Josh Williams, go? He went to Zane Smith. Of course, he has spotted for Zane Smith in the Truck Series for a number of years as Zane moved up to the Cup Series, and he became available. It was a perfect fit. Multiple wins together, including the past 2 Truck Series races at Daytona. The best way to get a
Well, he does it every time in my Discord, Bumble, because I am the oldest one in my Discord, so...
John Hunter Nemechek will be back in row number 10. It's his second dual start. He's
Also,
back in the Cup Series full time. And B.J. McLeod, the independent
I just realized I forgot the letter in manufacturer. There should be an R at the end of that.
Who didn't make a lap in qualifying.
I never said I was good at
so
grammar and
he's got a lot
spelling.
to learn here
I was
in
always
the
the
first
math guy in school.
All right.
Spelling and grammar and English.
It had a little bit of calamity, but it mostly went
I was always the math guy.
Probably more the same, Clint. I think these guys will be a little tentative at the start to fill their
No,
cars
I'm not
out
that
and do
old.
the things that the other guys did.
I am in
I think in the end
my
it's gonna be the
30s. I
same,
mean, I'll
pushing
be
and shoving and trying to get yourself in
34
position to
this
score some points
October.
and try to win a race.
So I'm not too far off of that,
We saw a lot
King,
of
but
Chevrolets, right? They were the strength in numbers this time. Let's see if the Fords can do a little bit better. We saw pit road, green flag pit stops becoming.
that's true, Hamill. A true gentleman never asks a lady her age.
The caution, right? As all those jumbled up, finally got together, 3-4 wide accordion and a wreck. So I think you're going to see kind of the same thing, but let's see if the Fords can do a little bit better job using their strength than the Chevrolets did.
And I think the battle to transfer in could be
you
just
just
as
joined Ryan
exciting as the
King,
one
so
we
yeah, hey.
just saw.
That exciting?
Yeah.
Give your props here then.
Larry Mack.
Yeah, I want to follow up on what Clint said. We have 12 Fords in this field. That's more than the Toyotas and the Chevrolet combined. They didn't show a lot that last race, but there were only 4 Ford drivers. Let's see if they can flex their muscles and show their strength. But regardless of what manufacturer, 2 things. Learn all you can and stay out of trouble.
That's a tall order, Larry. That's very hard to do out here.
Yeah, if you're a recent addition to the Discord, then yeah, then
New Toyota Camry XSE
you might be the
with
oldest one
that
in there then.
hammerhead nose, leading the
I
field.
was,
All new
to my
in
knowledge,
showrooms
so
this summer. Well, it's cooled off just a little bit. Still 63 degrees. Nice day in Daytona.
Truck
You may
race
wanna
tomorrow
rewind
night,
This
yep.
Saturday and Sunday. What we're telling you just now: clear skies, 69-degree track temp, perfect racing weather to go 60 laps, 150 miles.
Yeah, and that fuel window and the pit stop and everything that happens in the middle of this race, if we don't get a caution early,
Bumble,
we saw it become
I wouldn't take that much of a risk on it, but
I was a little bit caught off guard, to be honest with you. All the action and everything happened.
I wouldn't
all at
put that
once,
much
and
of a risk
the
on
rookie
it.
up here in the booth was a little
Especially
caught off
after the
guard,
mechanical
but
failure that the 36 had in qualifying.
looks a lot different.
I wouldn't be willing to stake those bets on that.
Win the race if you can, otherwise
Not that I wouldn't go and support you if you did head to it, you know.
Here's his radio.
All right, boys. Let's go have some fun tonight. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I'd jump in there. I'd support you.
Really
really cool to see.
Come to the platform. I'd come support you.
Make the most of every opportunity we got this week. Stay after it. Yes, sir. Fast car starting up front. Let's keep it there. Go get another trophy.
Travis Peterson didn't get a call out last night. Michael Scrucci deserves a lot of the credit. Brought a fast car to Daytona, and it will start from the front row Sunday if it stays clean.
Let's find out.
Doesn't have to go to a backup car after tonight. There's a lot of ifs in this race, you know.
Yeah, we're learning a lot as we go here, and I think the one thing that I learned in the last race is it looks to me like maybe the Fords didn't handle quite as good as they wanted to. So it'll be interesting to see with the numbers in this race if that was actually true, or if it was just you know, the Logano car. He scared us at the end.
Ooh, man, 3 wide right in the middle, trying to make sure I get that car back to Roger Penske so he can get his picture on the front row. Woo, I was nervous for him.
Now, once again, 3 transfer drivers. David Reagan in the 60, BJ McLeod.
After this race, we'll know. We'll know the full starting field.
Gralla has to finish ahead of the other 2, or he goes home.
This is the car that we were just riding with, and Denny Hamlin. I've got my eyes on him. Those Toyotas were extremely strong. Truex fast early. Reddick winning the race. Bubba Wallace.
So actually,
he's got a teammate in here as well.
Gralla has to beat Reagan for McLeod to miss the race. I didn't realize that. That's true because Gralla didn't set a time. Gralla actually has to beat Reagan and McLeod to make it. He can't. You can't have. Oh shit! I mistyped my command. Instead of typing race start, I typed race stream.
Where'd my outside line go, Kevin?
Well, they had the start coordinated between the 2 Fords of Austin Cindric and Michael McDowell for Michael McDowell to take off and come down in front of Austin Cindric so that they were lined up early.
RC Keselowski hung out on the outside. 3 wide. The crossover, letting McDowell in, getting established on that bottom. It was effective.
And the one thing I always liked being in race 2 was I got to watch race 1 and learn the characteristics of some of the cars so that I knew what to expect. I always felt like in race 2 of the duels, I could be more aggressive.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But McLeod was, because McLeod actually set a time, he's actually the one that would be locked in by his time. Gralla is the one that actually has to get up into that spot to make it.
Overtime with the Super Bowl going. They want the ball. They want to go first.
Yeah.
I want to go second. And here's your chance.
But all the same things apply in this particular race. You know, you're filling out your car. You're, you know, deciding how aggressive that you can be with the way that it hits the ground, or if it's not hitting the ground, and doing all the things early here to be comfortable to start giving that guy in front of you a little push, giving that guy a little side draft, trying to do the things that you know you need to do in order to
see how this race compares to the first one.
If there's ever a team and organization
plan
that
to.
Here, it's Stuart Haas.
I plan to, Jaden.
All 4 of their hot rods in this race.
Plan to. It doesn't mean that things couldn't change, but I plan to do both Trucks and Xfinity and the ARCA race.
Just to clarify, Riley Herbst is in.
Obviously, I'll be doing all the Cup races again this year, like I did, like I've done for the past 5 years. So.
Correct. Ryan Preece was in the first race, but there are 4 cars fielded by Stuart Haas in this one. You're right.
That's right. So your math is good.
Car was. I tell you, that Herbst car.
I always tend to do everything for Daytona. Daytona and for the finale, I try to do everything.
Yep. That's going to be a tough one.
You got the
Come on, I think the coverage starts at 8.
The 3 of them,
I'm right.
Zane Smith goes, but they're.
That's what I have my stream scheduled for. So.
Right up there together.
Yeah, great story with all those guys growing up together, racing out the West Coast boys. Good kids.
Larry?
Yeah, I go back to the start of that race with Michael McDowell and the 34, Austin Cindric in the 2.
Ford's up there leading
Ford drivers, but it was announced today, not only did Front Row Motorsports sign an extension with Ford, but they also have an alliance with Team Penske, so they truly are like another Team Penske car.
So that was a welcome to the family moment.
Well, what you could do, Hamill, if I could figure out a way to do it, I could patch you in. If you're gonna be at the 500, you could be my in race at the track live reporter.
Kyle Busch changed lanes there to try to line some of those Chevys up together at the front of the line.
McDowell
on the outside. Sorry, Clint.
He's going to be forced. I saw it. He got out quite a bit on the leaders there. He's forced to make a block. Chose the outside.
I think the only way that would work, Wrecked, is if he was,
now 15 years. It's the first time he's led a duel.
Reddick won the first one, Booby.
I thought he'd move back down and get in front of these.
Reddick won it on the last lap pass of Larson.
There's some William Byron radio.
It's safe, just a scotch more, nothing coming right now.
Yeah, all the Fords have that inside all locked down. Look at them.
You know, I know that it's a
McDowell all the way back to Haley.
Talk about, but
all
if you can
Fords.
save some gas, your pit stop's going to be faster, and that's really the balancing act.
There's two in the top lane, Gregson and
Yeah, it really
Herbst.
isn't about just getting to that lap, getting to the number.
But that whole inside
That might
is
have to play an effect, but
Fords.
It's about that pit stop.
Yeah,
back
here's
to
the story
back
right
to
here. You
Hamlin.
look at the throttle up in the corner here of William Byron. He's the lead car, and he's actually letting out of the throttle, trying to dictate the speed of that line, and letting the second place car of Kyle Busch really push him forward and try to make him do all the work. Kyle's 100%. Being that second place car, you have a lot of responsibility being that second place car, trying to stay as close as you can, and when you're able to push that.
Well, there
lead
was
car out
one
there,
incident, Booby.
you know, it allows your line to start gaining speed,
Hemrick
and
basically
that's the leader.
trashed his
The second
car
place car will push you out there, and the leader will
in a
drag
stack
the brake or
up,
let off
so
the gas a little bit to try to
it's really the
keep
only
that
car that
distance as
got
close
like
as possible
really
and keep
tore
dragging
up.
that line forward.
Looking back here in the pack a little bit longer, riding with Christopher Bell, you saw Bubba Wallace there, and even Denny Hamlin. I was kind of keeping an eye on those guys, not those big movers like we saw in the first duel, gaining 12, 13 spots.
Yeah, and as we go back further in the pack right here, you see Bubba, he's able to run 50% throttle, and I know you're thinking at home, what in the world?
Well,
Why is he
the
half
thing is,
throttle?
McLeod is in.
And the accordion effect and
As long as
everything that
Reagan
goes
is the
on with
top
these cars,
locked-in
he can
car,
just try to keep a
McLeod
steady
is in
gap
due to
and
his
hold that thing
time.
about 50%,
Gralla didn't set a
and
time
he's really going to save some fuel
in qualifying. They had a
work on that
mechanical
pit stop
issue.
speed that we know if they don't have
Gralla
a
has to beat Reagan for McLeod to
where
be
you
knocked
come
out of the race.
off of pit road when you put
That's
fuel
the
in
only
because
way
they're not gonna
McLeod
change
goes
tires
home,
unless they screw something up.
is if Gralla beats Reagan.
BJ McLeod on the right there of Denny Hamlin. Hamlin trying to move up a spot, and McLeod just trying to keep David Reagan in sight at this point. Here's Bubba Wallace's team.
I think I did actually do that to you once before. I called you Hamlin.
If you're a little closer to the front, I can probably see him better.
Yeah, those two yellow cars look a lot alike.
Well, and that's when you know you're really close when you're a spotter, when he can fire back at you and you're not mad.
That's Freddie Kraft.
Yeah.
But that's also a loose, right? I love that. I love that banner back and forth, loosens you up in that race car.
And I know you're looking at all these percentages and you're looking at everything. We're trying to show you the strategies that come along with running these races, especially at the beginning, to be able to put yourself in a
Well, like
good
I
position
said,
and halfway
McLeod
to
is. I
and
think
race towards the end of the race
Bumble
arc.
wasn't aware of that when she made her little post. McLeod is actually in the race. He's in the race as long as Gralla does not beat Reagan, or as long as Gralla isn't the highest finishing open car. McLeod is in because he set a time in qualifying. Gralla did. Gralla has to be the highest finishing open car.
10 laps complete. William Byron out front. Riley Herbst trying to take the lead from him. And everybody, all 21 cars, back to Kaz Gralla in the lead draft at Daytona.
Might have to refresh this sucker. Still a refresh here while they're on commercial.
Let's talk about ED. As you get a little older, things tend to work a little differently.
I felt shame, embarrassment, guilt. Like something had been knocked out from underneath me. What HIMS does is says, hey, look, don't worry
Jack's a great equalizer.
100% online.
The whole process.
But again, the real thing here is going to be what happens during the pit stops.
This product has changed my life.
When it kicked in, I said, yeah, I'm back. I
I
remember.
mean, what
this
really
moment.
changed Duel 1 was was the late caution with 10 to go for that stack-up incident.
Nothing scary about Energizer Ultimate Lithium. The #1 longest lasting AA.
I have to see what happens here in
everything we build is from the
in
ground
Duel
up.
2.
Every great idea, every crazy idea, every next idea, everything you see, everything you feel when you drive it. We put everything we have into our trucks, so you get everything out of them. Ram, trucks are what we do.
Get 10% below MSRP for an average of $8,400 under MSRP on the purchase of select 2024 Ram light duty and heavy duty trucks.
Life doesn't always give you time to change.
I thought Norm still had that. Norm still had that title, Bumble.
Prediabetes does. 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, but with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. And you can change the outcome. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test today. Go to
But then again,
doihaveprediabetes.org.
Set the stage for Daytona.
Speed Weeks continues with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Oh, well, there's my answer.
First one, and don't miss the
7:30 when I
Daytona
actually
this
start the
summer on
coverage.
Fox.
We stay green as we welcome you back to the Blue-Green Vacation Duel, race number 2. Riley Herbst, Noah Gregson, William Byron as you watch them from our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Powering every lap, every mile, and every victory on the road ahead. Goodyear, more driven. This field this year is so jumbled up, and I don't just mean race 2. 13 drivers in different places from last year, 11 crew chief changes, 17 spotter changes over the entire field.
Yeah, and the key word there is spotter at this particular race. Learning a new
AJ
spotter.
gonna
We
dive
talked
low and
about,
see if he can get the lead
Ryan
from
Blaney in
Herbst.
his situation, but there are several other teams that are in a position to learn their new spotters, and it's so important to get in a rhythm here.
Riley Herbst, little shot there. Noah Gregson.
Ooh, little sideways
Pretty
there.
treacherous place right off of the exit of turn 4 to be that tight.
Turn 4, you always want that car to be pointed as straight as possible when you come up off the corner, and Noah is being really aggressive in pushing, and Riley has experience. He ran the super speedway races last year, did a great job. I raced around him a lot.
Hammer, I agree with that statement.
In the Cup Series, and
Deegan is, I'm not gonna say Deegan isn't a looker, you know.
The field where are 2 of the RFK Fords, David
As a
Reagan,
straight male,
Brad Keselowski,
I am not going to disagree with the fact that, or I will agree with the fact that Deegan is a looker.
At 21st, check with the team, told me that's just part of the plan. You'll also notice, of course, his teammate David Reagan right in front of him. It's all part of the plan for RFK.
You know why they're leading?
That's the plan.
They were forward on a super speedway.
Stay out of trouble and hope it doesn't find you.
That's why they were. That's why they were leading. Obviously,
after this pit stop,
got a little shuffle there. AJ now leading.
AJ Allmendinger spent last year in the Cup Series, had some success. Veteran road racer. He's raced open wheel. He's raced NASCAR. He's going to run the entire Xfinity Series and make selected starts here in the Cup Series, including the 500 on Sunday.
Nothing to lose. No points on the line. He is going for it. Expect it tonight. Expect it Sunday.
A new dad since we last raced here. Congratulations to the Allmendingers.
Well, we see the second place car of William Byron there in the 24 and Kyle Busch right behind him. You saw him down the back straightaway, Clint. Like they're like, all right, we gotta go. And they did a little bit of pushing and shoving, and that's what you got to do in order to advance that line. And you never know until those hood flaps wave at you if you're doing a good job.
Closing on the 1/3 mark.
Bubba Wallace, Christopher Bell, you know, bumper to bumper there. They're just moving to the front slowly but surely. What happened that first race, the first duel, the Toyotas just slowly started showing up.
Let's have a look at the Xfinity fastest lap of this race so far. A familiar number at the top of that chart. Josh Berry, 192.4. So, longtime number 4 driver, Kevin Harvick. Your replacement right there. replacement's the wrong word, but the fellow who stepped into that seat when you vacated it, what's his job here tonight?
His job is to log laps, and really the pressure is going to be this first green flag pit stop to figure out how to navigate that. I know he's done all that in the Xfinity cars, but this car is different. This Cup car that we've run the last 2 years, it brakes different, it steers different, and he just needs to be in the middle of everything, learning.
Be interesting to see how Barry does this year.
All the things that he needs to check
and
off.
one of the things that I saw,
so that means completing the whole race.
Now we're going to see what these Toyotas have on the outside.
one of the things that I saw is, or I was listening to Hamlin's, one of the episodes of Hamlin's podcast.
That second slot on the inside.
He posed the question, picking a driver from out of the standings and whether they would do better or worse than the previous season.
Very happy in Las Vegas right now. The two Vegas kids out front, Riley Herbst, Noah Gregson. These two grew up racing together at the Bull Ring right outside of Las Vegas Motor Speedway since they were little boys. Now here they are racing side by side at Daytona. And Riley told me, he said, my goal is to get here full time, but I've got to prove myself. He's racing 4 times this year.
It's funny though, because
but man, he is doing everything he needs to do right now.
He is doing a great job.
You look at the guys in the sport that are in their 30s.
Now in the battle to get in the race,
and that's seen as old now.
BJ McLeod, and that black car doesn't have a single sponsor decal on it. McLeod wants to make the race. Hope that'll find him some sponsorship for Sunday.
Yeah, speaking of doing what you're supposed to do, he's knocking out of the park right now. All systems go. Fast car, making good moves.
Exactly. You're right, Hamill. Kind of my point is the youngins that we have.
A decision to make here. He's going to have a tough time keeping these boys behind him on the outside.
But the problem that he's got right now is now the second place car is clear, so he's got to decide when they make this next run.
Bubba's not clear yet.
Outside line back. Do I drop and block or do I stay up? And he's chosen to stay up in front of the Toyotas.
And again, there's those Toyotas. Only 4 of them in this race.
Working lap 21. Couple of the young guns, Riley Herbst and Noah Gregson, leading at Daytona.
But then again, Herbst had a pretty strong run.
Lots of men have trouble.
I want to say, was it last year and then also in August?
For others, it's finishing too quickly. Either way, HIMS can help. At 4hims.com, you can get clinically proven treatments from licensed medical providers, all from the comfort of home, with a 100% online process. And free discreet shipping, it's never been easier to get hard, stay hard, and last longer than ever. Get started today with a free online consultation at 4hims.com.
We want the market price lobster.
McLeod's middle name is Darwin.
Sadly, we can't have it all, except at Sport Clips, where we
Hamill, please tell me that that's true. Please tell me that that's true. His middle name is Darwin. That is a win. You're not topping that. You're not topping that. Darwin. Darwin. I don't know why I'm laughing so much at that. Darwin. Darwin. No, once the prediction is over, Daniel, or once the time limit's over, you can't add any more points. It's locked for whatever points are put in there.
Next on FS1, the Fox Sports original.
Until I do another one, which I'm not going to obviously pay that one off until we find out who wins. So
coming up next on FS1, Toyota's out front. Bubba Wallace, Christopher Bell at 24 laps. Zane Smith.
So does that mean we need to rename the award now to the BJ McLeod Award instead of the Darwin Award?
BJ McLeod right with them. Regan.
Mike William Byron sliding back just a little bit right now in the 9th position. Happy with the race car, but not happy with something inside of the race car.
I can't move my head to see the mirror. That's the only thing I'm pissed off about. Copy that. Just stay in it for us.
Yeah.
Get you fixed for Sunday.
Well, one thing that's happened over the
somebody have to look that up for me. The last time
and all the things that have happened with the
a team
with the
swept the dual race,
tighten that head foam up to where you have a minimum clearance that you have beside your helmet. So a lot of these guys are in the car for the first time, feeling that out under race conditions.
23XI obviously has a chance here.
A little bit claustrophobic, sitting in a position that you.
Oh yeah, duh.
Well,
that's right.
The difference between your race seating position and your qualifying seating position last night.
Takes you back to the shop, though.
I wonder what the last time was before our
RFK zone. I think that's good. I love it. I dig it. Everything's perfect.
That's right. I forgot. That's right.
Really look at it qualifying. You just
Brad Chris swept them in 22.
Now all of a sudden, oh no, I can't see out the mirror, which is the most impactful position you have. What's in your mirror is everything. We saw that with Jimmy Johnson.
But that's one of the big reasons that you want to run in this race and do everything you can to try to race it like it's going to be the Daytona 500, to be able to get all those bugs worked out, whether it's handling or mirrors or whatever it is.
Now look at the big guns here. Regan mentioned Byron back in 9th. Kyle Busch in 11th. Ryan Blaney, the champion, 15th. Denny Hamlin, 17th. Brad Keselowski way back there. Is this a case of the champs letting the boys play out front for a while?
Just patience is what I see.
I'm just curious. Hamlin, when was the last time it was done?
Oh, I know.
Come on, Clint. I'm trying to build a story here.
But we're turning lap 28, coming to 28 here. Larry's already told us
lap
35,
40,
somewhere in there.
20 to go.
And that's going to shake everything up exactly
is
like it
when
did.
the first duel, everybody there pitted.
Knows that you're not patient. So,
right.
But we'll see if that's where when they pit here.
Yeah, you see Christopher Bell's camera and looking back at Zane Smith. We haven't given Zane a shout out. He's done a great job from deep in the field up into the 4th position.
And how about some of the guys that are running at the front of this duel? I mean, no surprise, Bubba and Bell.
Is the guy. Unbelievable job
But,
to get that thing up front. It's awesome to see that.
So last year, McLeod's
Smith,
team had a charter. It
Hertz,
was
McLeod, Gregson, Haley.
The season, they sold that charter, and they're going to run.
What is going on in this duel race?
Car. They've also got a full-time Xfinity team. He's a really good businessman. Love to hear him. We had him up in the booth during qualifying at one race this year. Gave a great explanation of how you try to make it as a smaller team.
Yeah, they definitely get TV time, that's for sure.
On Sunday.
And the one thing that I will tell you about BJ McLeod is every driver in this field likes him because he is a genuinely good guy.
So it wasn't that big a gap between
I gotta make a choice
the previous time and when RFK did it 2 years ago.
Now,
so
I saw him a charter. I don't probably down here with limited friends and buddies and everything else. Who's going to pit my car here, boys?
And you asked who will pit BJ McLeod's car? A bunch of guys they found off the road or in the infield? No. Hendrick Motorsports is providing his crew tonight on Sunday.
Okay.
We'll be fine.
Yep.
Clint, we'll be fine.
All right, 29 laps complete. We're going to take halfway, and you'll see it all and not miss a moment as we go Fox.
Well, then again, it may just be one of those weekends. Remember, McDowell last night was the stunner of last night. Maybe McLeod is the stunner here.
The XFL and the USFL merged together to create one powerful spring football league called the UFL. These players are going to play hard-nosed, intense football, passionate football.
Every play matters.
They got one
maybe
shot.
BJ is the story of tonight.
Incredible. Spring football is here to stay.
The UFL season kicks off March 30th on Fox and ABC.
Toyota Racing is looking for iron stomachs that can stand the pressure. This season, we want you.
Join us at Toyota Racing. Toyota Racing is looking for quick draw thumbs that leave their own smoke trail. This season, we want you. Join us at Toyota Racing.
He hits his mark center stage and is crushed by a baby grand piano.
You're replacing me? Customize and save with Liberty Bibbity.
He doesn't even have a mustache.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
All the parts you need at the prices you want.
Are you okay, Hamill?
Every time.
Are you okay?
So you can keep your ride or die alive.
Just coming up with random awards.
This is the make or break moment.
Oh my goodness!
Not just for the day, but for the years to come. This is where a race isn't just about the race. It's about the doors it can open.
That kid is amazing.
The number of fans wearing your number. This is the chance to carve your name into the history books. This is the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
Brace for impact.
Like I said, I just checking on you, Hamill. You know me. Want to make sure my boy okay.
Friday Night Smackdown, sponsored by
McLeod is running P3.
Central on Fox.
McLeod is legit running P3.
For a weekend of good vibes the whole family won't forget. Get your tickets now.
I really hope he closes this. I really hope he closes. Even if he doesn't win the duel race, I hope he closes this and finishes
If you had
top
BJ
3.
McLeod running in the top 3 at halfway in this duel at Daytona, we'll pour one out, give yourself a pat on the back.
Yeah.
How about that?
How about that?
Looking good so far. Rolling.
Tell you what, if he closes this out,
Independent driver.
how many in here are with me? BJ McLeod's story of the night. If he closes this
transition
out.
to the pit stop when it happens, in my opinion.
Last night, I think it was easily Michael McDowell last
Into
night.
the stall and everything that
Tonight, it very well
to
could
stay
be
with the
McLeod.
pack in the right end of it anyway.
After last night, we all left scratching our heads. Where are the Toyotas? I am sold. Trust me, they're fine, folks. Daytona 500. Optimistic. These cars are extremely fast. All of them have marched to the front. Salt in the first one, a true X. You see Bubba Wallace, Bell behind him, Hamlin coming, I promise.
Well, tonight's sequel to that may be Where Are the Fords? They are here in huge numbers, and we thought they might get to the front and dominate. So far, that's not been the case.
Well, Larry, what's changed with both manufacturers?
Yeah, the Toyota
it's,
and the
78's
Ford,
Chevrolet.
complete new body, new Camry for the Toyota, the Ford Dark Horse Mustang. These are really the first competitive race laps of any type they've turned.
And that's why we run the race. You got to get out on the racetrack to see what you have. You can only go through the CFD and the wind tunnel and all those things so many times. The racetrack tells the tale.
Bubba Wallace had only led 3 laps in the dual races before this evening. He's been out front for 14 circuits right now. 7 for Riley
Probably
Hurst,
about
6
6 laps from when green flag stop should start.
Michael McDowell started on pole for this race, and he led 6 laps, but he's been slipping back, and he's been radioing to his spotter, tell the 2 of Austin Cindric, I want to drop back. Austin said no, so he just tried again. Austin said no, so he's kind of stuck, sitting right where he is with Austin right behind him.
Yeah, again, folks, guaranteed starting position on the outside front row, the Daytona 500 on Sunday. Man, that is, you are the meat in the sandwich right now. Starting to clean back up on that outside line a little bit. Can't tear this car up.
We see those Toyotas change lane down to the bottom of the racetrack, and usually that's an indication that we're getting close to pit stops as the cars try to position themselves at the bottom of the racetrack, and maybe we're going to see
I
this
think we got
strategy
at least
start to play
another
out here in the
5
next couple
laps.
Tell all sign.
At least another 5 laps, at least until 20 to
the later
go.
you stop, the less gas you need.
Well, and again, we think they've
Crews are
been
getting ready,
saving
though.
some fuel. You see the pit crews getting ready right there. That's Bubba Wallace's pit crew. I still think we're going to see them probably go another 4 to 5 laps if it duplicates the first duel, Mike.
Yeah. Since we had nothing to slow this
usually the
duel.
driver has a sheet taped on his dash or taped on one of the bars, and it's usually covered up so nobody can see it. And then as the driver gets in and takes off, or he rips the tape off, or they talk about it beforehand, or they have code words or
He's
whatever
trying.
it is. So the strategy kind of unfolds in front of us.
Well, let it not be known that McLeod did come here to
All right, let's think about it. These
come here and
Toyotas are
just
showing their hand. They
ease
might
his
be
way
getting
into a
here
spot.
sooner
He
than
was gonna.
later. Are the Fords going to try to run long, strategize? Is that what Brad Keselowski was talking about?
I think you see these Toyotas, all two of them. If they only pit together, do they have a good enough draft to be able to run everybody else down, or do they need to pit with the Chevrolets?
It's an interesting conversation because of the fact that they do have so few numbers, but they have a lot of speed.
I think he was reaching over and adjusting brake right there. It's telling me he's getting ready for this pit.
Remind you what happened in duel number 1 when one group of cars tried to pit and not.
Oh, it should also be known that that car that got sideways went on to win that duel.
Yeah, it looked like Martin
too.
Truex
So
wasn't coming to pit road, and all the Toyotas tried to get everything situated
that be
so
known
that they
as
were on the
well.
same page, and in the end they were not, and that's what caused all the chaos and tore up a few cars and got everybody all mixed up.
Now there are 4 Toyotas in this race, but 2 of them, Hamlin and Nemechek, well toward the back, while Wallace and Bell lead.
it's a slide.
There
Man.
are 5 Chevrolets, 2 together and then 3 further back. The rest of the field are Mustangs.
$22 laps to go in the duel race. At least two laps to the green flag stops.
Yeah, Mike,
McLeod currently would be in. He's the highest running open car. Reagan is in due to his time.
Sounds like he's going to do exactly what he
Gralla would be the one left out.
He's going to come probably here in the next lap or two, maybe around lap 40.
Well, that's the car that they're showing his teammates. Bubba Wallace, Christopher Bell up front. But I'm still got my eyes on these Fords. I think they're going to run long.
Yeah, I think they a lot of it just depends on how this cycle to pit road goes, and if it's clean or if it's
I just realized I just got what you said.
Haley right there in third place. Treetop
also, by the way, while we get ready for pit stops, I saw
no
something today.
And
at the time, it took me a minute to dawn the genius of it.
On the super speedways.
So I passed a cannabis
BJ McLeod, one little
dispensary.
Turn 4, man, we really went backwards, got stuck in the
wow, yeah, now it's closer.
I think these Toyotas are coming.
I passed a dispensary on the way home today, and I had to do a double check. The name of the place was Jars. It took me a minute to realize that's creative.
Not this time,
What do you
boys.
think about it?
Another lap. Man, BJ McLeod all the way to the rear. Did such a good job getting that thing to the front. Still be patient. Stay in this thing. Good pit stop.
Yep. It looked like it was a small joint, though, because I hadn't heard of it before. Hell, there's a dispensary that is part of the building where my work is. We basically share, the company I work for shares the building with the cannabis company.
Something different. And, we talk about the wave that Bubba may have had there that we didn't see, and talked about he might have just waved to try to fake him out.
Now they're only using every other pit box because this is only half the field. They could all stop together. It won't be on this lap, but it won't be real calamity if everybody comes to pit road at the same
It looks
time.
like a couple of Fords are hanging together there.
Yeah.
Regan.
Well, Mike, about 2 laps ago, the 51 and Justin Haley asked what lap they were going to pit. They said lap 44. The problem was Justin didn't know what lap they were on in the race. He said, "You got to tell me what lap we're on right now." Let's see if they.
You guys forget McLeod is still in the race. Gralla has to pass Reagan for McLeod to be out of the race.
I got that one. I understand this.
As long as Reagan hangs in front of Gralla, McLeod's still good. It's going to shuffle right now because they're shuffling about who's going to come to pit road and when they come.
Absolutely. Do the cars behind them know that they're pitting? Don't stack it up
Here
behind
they come.
Yeah, he gets down off track quickly. This is much better organized than in race number 1. 8 cars
First group.
pitting. Josh.
But a mixture of manufacturers, too. McLeod's going to be in with this group.
Free in the tri-oval as far as the 23 of Bubba Wallace. Most laps he's ever led in a duel with 21 in this race as he looks for his first win in the duel.
B.J. McLeod has made his stop, trying to make the show, and it looks like most of them will come out together.
McLeod's going to slide in there right between Haley and
all right, McDowell now the leader. 5 Fords in front of Denny Hamlin's Toyota, then 2 more Fords. Will they come this lap?
I see McDowell and Cindric.
Not all of them. Nope.
Hamlin.
8 cars headed for
Briscoe. Ooh, McDowell might have been too fast.
Mike the 71 is Zane Smith getting ready to make his second start in the Daytona 500
Zane
after tonight.
Smith
He told me earlier that this
Herbst.
race right now way less stressful than last year when he had to race in, and it's been that way on the radio. Very calm, hasn't said a word. Jamie?
Austin Cindric, Michael McDowell both pulling to their pit box.
Well, you mean Chat's new boy, Hamill.
Light him up on pit road. They want to take care of their tires. Just enough fuel here to make it to the
Gregson was in.
That will leave 5 cars on the racetrack that have not pitted.
Burton, Blaney, Kozlowski, Reagan, and
Ryan
Gralla.
Blaney, Brad Kozlowski, they're all Fords. David Reagan, Kaz Gralla.
Now, Gralla's got no
they're
help,
all in
though.
this time, it looks like.
Absolutely no help. He's way back of these 4.
Zane Smith, 2
That may be the difference maker.
That'll be a drive-through penalty at pit road speed.
Yeah, and you see the pack zigging and zagging, trying to get everything formed back up. You got cars that are going fast, cars that are coming out of the pits that are trying to get in front of the other cars, and William Byron in the 24 car.
They were a lot more collected, weren't they? Byron, Bubba Wallace, and Bell all collected pretty tight. They're going to run this group down and make a pass.
Yep.
And David Reagan may have trouble catching up with the group of cars he just pitted with.
Gralla.
Yeah, and this pack is going to catch these slower cars coming to the back straightaway.
David Reagan. So right now, McLeod is in as they run.
Yeah, and
It'd be
job,
Reagan
Ryan
and
Blaney
McLeod.
and Brad Keselowski, is to what do we have to do to mix these guys up if we don't think we're going too slow, but they're going to let them go by.
Because McDowell was Cindric. Or, excuse me, that's Hamlin, not Cindric.
A lot of times what you'll do is you'll try to
Briscoe,
get in front of the line
there's
that's
Cindric.
coming to make them have to pull down the racetrack in order
Byron
to zig
Bush.
and zag to break that group up. As you see Michael McDowell at the front of that pack.
You know who's right behind him? Denny Hamlin. Where did he come from?
So the Toyotas together there.
Cindric. Inside.
Cindric wants to race.
Save that fuel riding around in the back that you talked about. You harped on us, Kevin, and that's exactly what you just saw with Denny Hamlin. Quick pit stop, put him right up front, right where he needed to be.
And right now, David Reagan and B.J.
Here comes
McLeod will
McLeod.
transfer into the 500.
Try to be the highest running
Kaz
open
Gralla
car. She gets around Reagan.
He's lost the draft. What happened to him, Larry?
Just looked like to me it was a slow stop. He was way behind everyone he pitted with, and he lost the draft, actually leaving pit road.
So at this point, if we don't see
Here's
a
our
caution,
coverage from Goodyear. Powering
looks
every
like it'll be
mile
Reagan
every
and
moment.
McLeod.
NASCAR's road to victory. Goodyear, more driven.
You got to give it to him, guys.
14
the
to
man's
go.
good. He's good on this racetrack. Experience pays off. Denny Hamlin gained 15 spots on that exchange of a pit stop.
And there's a lot to that.
I said in my
it's getting into your pit box.
in my
the biggest key to that is, like you talk, saving that
predictions
fuel
that I
in the
made
back
on the
of pack
Discord that
and
I do
running half
the
throttle,
fantasy
just allow
on.
that time to be so much
I
quicker.
picked
Now
Hamlin
he's in position to have a chance to
for
win
the
this
whole
race up
weekend,
front.
or for the weekend for
They're
duels and
chasing
for
once again.
the 500. So I'm looking at some good points with Hamlin
It's a good
right
thing he
now,
didn't-
running second to
didn't do what he
McDowell.
wanted to do and listen to Austin Cindric. Yeah, now he finds himself up there leading the race.
Well, if they wreck.
Blaney went to move up, make a pass. Byron blocked.
Oh, and there they go!
Turned into the wall. Kyle Busch.
Wow. Bush, Byron.
And just like last year,
Oh,
Blaney
BJ's in it.
in the big one.
I don't know if Reagan got a piece of it.
Looks like he's getting
Byron was the first one sideways, but I didn't see who got into the back of him.
Got him stacked up behind him and started tank swapping, and it was gone.
Gregson's got a little bit of damage. Blaney's out.
Walks away from his car. He is okay.
And just like the first
AMR
race.
crew quickly on the scene. Oh,
Just like the first race. We had a wreck basically with less than 15 to go.
Big shot for Blaney.
And damage on the right front for B.J. McLeod.
Gonna get it to pit road. You might be all right.
Haley, a lot of damage on his car.
The question right now is Reagan.
Cloud's the one that really needed to get through there unscathed. Unfortunately, did not.
I tell you.
It's not over yet
So
for
David
BJ.
Reagan, who is guaranteed into the race on time, unless, of course, he races in. He is the first of those open cars right now. Then Kaz Gralla. Noah Gragson out.
Keep in mind, BJ has his time to
At
fall
least
back
half a dozen
on.
cars involved
Gralla
here.
does not. We
Kyle
still got to
Busch.
keep that in mind. Gralla has to get and pass Reagan.
What
That's the only way that, that Gralla is going to make this race.
Right, it all starts. I saw. It starts with the Blaney behind William Byron. He goes to make a move. Byron with a big block. Watch this.
Blaney makes the move.
Kind of a late block. Got him stacked up. Went back to the bottom.
And he was already on the bottom. He was down there.
Side draft and then.
Busch got into Byron.
Kyle Busch got into the back of the 24 and turned him sideways.
And did Brad Keselowski get into the back of Kyle Busch?
Watching McLeod through this to see how much damage he actually has.
Tore up a lot of good race cars.
I think he just had a flat right
hate
front.
To see that in these
got maybe a little side left side
damage
damage
he was
from
right there in
Blaney.
the middle of it as well.
Yeah, and I think this is going to start with this car right here. Blaney's going to pull up.
It's the run the outside had coming. Kyle had no choice but to give Byron a bump because of the run they had coming.
In the back of the 8, you can see the flames coming out of Kyle Busch's car, trying to keep from getting into the back of the 24, but the 6 is pushing Kyle Busch so hard that he can't get checked up. You saw the flames come out of the pipes.
Doesn't take much. That movement, as soon as he moved,
I think Bubba got
it was
away
kind of
with
a late block, but it was still a
not
good
getting
block.
any damage in that.
And when Blaney
Just
went
spun
back
to the
down to the
inside.
bottom, it just stacked them up, and they run him over from behind. You saw them all lift, just like
Don't
you said.
say
Flames tell all
it can't
signs when they
happen.
come
I
out of
mean,
those
we've
pipes if
seen.
they're lifting, but it
I mean, Matt Kenseth has won this
200
race
miles an hour.
coming from the back, so never say never when it comes to the 500. I mean, it sucks going to a backup car. Nobody wants to, but
This 12 car Ryan Blaney, he's the one that took the shot. That's a heavy hit.
He took the hard lick here back in August, down in 3 and 4.
That is one of the hardest hits that you can take in a race car when you get turned in the middle of the straightaway, right front into the wall, and
that's right. So just because you go to a backup car.
Put that window neck down quick. I know the car was on fire and he was in a hurry, but you could hear it in his voice.
What's funny is you might be right, Rec, because I was just gonna say, they didn't. They were getting to the point where we had the yellow in the first race. And about the time I said that is when Byron got sideways.
Thank goodness for that wall. You saw the energy that it absorbed on that outside safer barrier.
Yeah, and there's a couple cars that sneak through there.
That's a case of a big run coming and the car that got kicked out of line not being able to really do anything about it. I mean, Byron kind of got kicked out of line there when Blaney looked inside of him, and he was so much slower than the outside line. The outside line had no choice to do but to go into him.
At least 11 cars involved with 13 laps to go in Daytona.
Damn it. That's okay, we'll reset. But kind of an exact same situation as far as the first race. Because remember, it was Johnson that was caught up in the incident in the first race.
They said the world would never accept a cookie this long, or pretzel, and probably not a churro. They also said, under no circumstances should those really long and delicious treats be wildly affordable. Then we said, well, we already made them, and they are. Introducing the incredible new foot-long sidekicks. Get one.
Now, he'd be hurt, but he probably wouldn't be dead. I think the hit back in August would have been a more questionable one than that one was.
Thanks, Mom. I see you. I be your mirror.
You were made to dream about it for years. We were made to help you book it in minutes.
At Metro, get a new iPhone 12 with 5G. Take amazing pictures and share instantly. You don't take yada yada in life? Don't take yada yada from your wireless provider. Get a new iPhone 12 with 5G for only $99.99.
No.
Only at Metro.
Again, I keep I keep saying it. McLeod is in as of this moment. The only way he is out is if Gralla beats Reagan.
Because you could literally see what
The only way the BJ Cloud does not make the race is if Gralla beats Reagan. Which right now,
the promise of better work,
unless Reagan wrecks,
something that found us.
I got the interview.
I don't think it's possible. But then again, I was thinking that Johnson was going to have any issue making the race, and he almost didn't make it. So,
The Great American Race. The Daytona 500, Sunday at 2:30 Eastern on Fox.
well, you haven't missed
Red
anything
flag at Daytona with
since
13
the wreck.
laps to go. Here
So,
are the cars
since
officially
this
involved
wreck, so.
in the collision, some of which are on the rollback and headed for the garage. A lot of cleanup between turn 4 and the entrance to the tri-oval. We'll get back to racing just as soon as the track is clean and clear to do so. Coming up next on FS1 after the race, the premiere of the Fox Sports original documentary, I Am Kevin Harvick. Let's have a sneak peek.
This is my favorite question. My favorite question is, what if you'd have changed this, or what if you'd have changed that? Do you accomplish the same things? Do you win the same amount of races? Do you retire 10 years ago? I don't know.
Well, let's take a look back at Kevin Harvick's legendary career.
When you look back at everything that took place,
He began his career in the shadow of a legend.
if we'd have struggled the first year, it could have been a short career. I mean, it could have easily gone that way.
I would hope that you guys don't expect me to replace him, because nobody ever will.
You know, if you don't win, how soon do they start the pressure cooker of, is he the right guy? I probably wouldn't react to that very well.
I remember thinking, man, how's this young man doing this?
I would
Time to
never,
forget that
ever,
Kevin
ever,
won
ever
2
tell
races his
people
rookie
any
year,
weaknesses
too.
that I had. But winning cures a lot of problems.
And everybody knows the Atlanta race.
He's going to win the race and the championship. Here comes Kevin.
The reaction's always calculated. That was all show. I've always been pretty big on people not knowing who you are. It was always about not wanting to
You
show
think so?
You don't have to tell the whole story.
Well, actually, time to think of it, you would have had
If I'm gonna
seniors
share something,
input
it's
on
gonna
the whole
be
deal as
worth
well,
being
too.
shared.
The California kid, Kevin Harvick.
Stay tuned for I Am Kevin Harvick next right here on FS1. We all know how you made your Cup Series debut after we lost Dale Earnhardt here at Daytona in 2001. But I think what most people don't know is you were scheduled to make your Cup debut anyway at Atlanta that spring for Richard Childress.
Well, it's been a lot of fun, and you are correct. I was supposed to drive the number 30 AOL car in my first race at Atlanta, so it's interesting and crazy how all those sequences of events played out. But what a piece that we were able to do with all the old footage and some of the things that we found on old VHS tapes and things that they put into that documentary, and go back to how we ended the career to how it started and tie all that stuff together with where we
I think
are in
what's
life
most
now.
interesting
So it was a great journey. Wouldn't
the car
trade
that
it for
Hart
much,
would have
and I was
drove
very fortunate to have some
is
great
the
results
car
to go
he
with it.
did
Can
drive.
you believe you beat Jeff Gordon that day in Atlanta? Because I know Jeff Gordon still doesn't believe
is the car that he drove.
You know what I can't believe is that we're up here calling a race together, and you called my first one.
It was quite a day.
Oh, that means he's getting old? Is that what you were just saying? That was a day.
Everything.
Here's what I love.
Everything in here is an old guy joke.
My favorite part of that whole thing is
me and my
how
Discord
you transferred from this angry
Kevin's lying,
young
me and my
man
Discord.
to
Everything in
the
here is
guy
an
that
old
you
guy
are now.
joke.
Like those early days when you were mad every week and jumping over cars and in fights. Gosh, I miss that. Can you please bring that back?
It was a good show. I don't know that my body will permit me to do that anymore.
All right, Ryan Blaney is with Josh.
I really like
Ryan
playing
Blaney
Kevin
checked
in
the
the
release from the
booth.
infield care center. Ryan, what happened there from your perspective?
I have no idea. I saw the replay and it looks like a terrible push once again. Right gets me right reared into the wall. So I don't know who it was, who it stems from. 6 in the back of the 8, 8's left, and I get hooked. So shitty pushes by people 3 times in a row in Daytona, and got a wrecked race car. So I'm getting pretty sick of getting right reared by someone's awful push. So it's unfortunate we got to build a whole new 500 car. But we had a fast Menards Peak Ford Mustang tonight. Just shame it's ruined by someone else.
Thanks, Ryan. Glad you're okay.
Thanks, Josh. Reporting from the Advent Health Care Center. Now he was talking about Brad Keselowski getting into Kyle Busch. Here's Brad's radio.
From what I could tell, Brad, in front of you, the 8 was moving up the track a little bit, and the 24 was coming down. And when he hit him just a little bit, it instantly turned him. Yeah, copy. I didn't know the 24 was in front of the 8. They had half a foot gap, but when they started all checking up, it just all crumpled quick. Yeah, 10-4.
And as a driver in the position that Brad was in that line, he was doing his job. And you know when you see Brad, who's here behind the 8 car, he's doing what he thinks he's supposed to do, and the spotter should be telling him that you know, half a car on him.
Look how fast they're catching.
Yeah, and you see the flames coming out of the pipe right there, and then the same thing out of the 6 car. But it's you know, it's a tough spot because you have all that momentum. We're getting closer to the end of the race.
Herbst is watching the replay because it looks like they're showing the replay for Kyle. So Herbst
and the spotter, part of his
watching
responsibility is making sure that he's telling you what that gap is in front of the car that you're
trying
pushing.
to watch it too.
Josh?
I think as he was walking past.
Kyle Busch checked the release from the infield care center. Kyle, what happened there from your perspective, and what did you see on the replay as well?
Was getting a push a little bit from the 6 there, and the 24 I saw kind of got messed up out of line and slowed down. I tried to lift and roll out of the gas smoothly, and I was still gaining too fast, and then I got all the way out of the gas and got bumped again from behind, and just accordioned into the 24 and sent him spinning. You don't want to hit a guy in a tri-oval. I've been there, I've done that, and I've also rolled out of here in an ambulance before doing that. So I know it's not the right thing to do, but sometimes you don't have a choice, and turn the 24 sideways. And
you really can't blame.
So, you know,
I hate to say it,
Camaro was pretty fast. I felt
as
good
much
about
as
it.
you want to blame, I understand
Couldn't really
Blaney's
make any moves,
frustration.
though, man. What a frustrating race! Just
you really
sitting in line,
can't.
saving fuel, stuck on the bottom, can't go anywhere. You get back in line.
You
wanna
really
go
can't
forward,
blame anybody for that
we were taking
because
the momentum,
it was
whichever way the
just,
momentum was coming, and
you know,
yeah,
it was a
just
stack
another
up
wreck.
caused by Byron getting shot out of line there.
Released from the care center, also Riley Herbst after that crash. I was looking
Yeah,
at
that's
Brad's car.
kind of what
When he
happened.
made
Kind
that
of what
contact
happens
with
in this
Kyle,
style
a
of
lot
racing.
flames out the
It's all
pipes.
about
He, too, was
momentum,
off
and
the gas trying to get that
when
car
somebody
slowed.
loses it,
Look at the list of drivers
That's
that
what
were in
can
the
happen.
wreck. All experienced veteran drivers. They were all making moves. That's Daytona. That's plate style racing, and it's going to happen. It's
I
happened
wouldn't
for
be
years,
surprised
and
to see
it's
the
gonna
same thing on
continue to
Sunday
happen.
either.
It'll happen on Sunday. Might happen by the end of this race. You can't place blame on anybody. They were trying to make moves. Blaney was making a move. Byron was
I
making
know
a
the
move.
running
Those
order
guys
is
were certainly coming
flipping
up on
wildly right now.
Kevin, your old car won't start.
Because again, we're running under yellow.
And I'm not sure exactly why it won't start, but I would tell you that what I would do in the checklist right now. Yeah, he's talking him through his switches,
Maybe
but I would go
electrical
straight
issue
to the
for
main
Bar-
power
for
switch,
Barry.
turn it off. It's like a computer. You got to recycle you got to reboot the whole system, turn it back on, recycle everything, and try to fire it. If not, then I don't know where to go from there. Gonna need somebody smarter than me.
Ryan Blaney's car dropped off at his hauler.
Well, again, the luck for the reigning series champion in the following 500, you know?
Both from our camera there on pit road and from on board.
Oh my gosh.
It was like Dylan's hit at Atlanta a couple years ago, or Atlanta on the Super Speedway Atlanta.
And now let's go on board.
Oh, this is gonna hurt too.
So fast.
Not very much movement though. Of the props to the head restraint and the harness there.
Kevin, you
doing
said
its
something
job.
earlier in the week about these Gen 7 cars. You said these cars crash really hard.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Well, you see his head bouncing around, and we talked earlier about the foam that they put around the driver's head and his Hans straps. But if we put that in slow motion and we saw that driver's head move forward, it's his whole body. And it is as violent as anything I've ever crashed in my whole career. And NASCAR and the teams have done a great job in implementing the foam and
he's had a couple of big hits as of recently too. You know, the August race.
And as we slow this
forget
down,
to hit at Kentucky when or was it Nashville where he hit the unprotected safe barrier.
And that's why those headrests are so
the
long.
Unprotected
You see
barrier.
the seat move. You see that the reason that headrest is so long is when he goes forward like that is to keep his head from going outside. You see his head impacting the foam. And as a driver, I mean, it happens really quick, but it is so violent.
Did a good job letting go on that steering wheel.
Look at the number of shoulder injuries we've seen with these full containment seats, all doing their job. It used to be we saw a lot of rib cage injuries with the old seats, but now we're seeing drivers with shoulder surgeries in the off season.
Extremely, a lot of science went into these cars, a lot of safety, but these guys are tough. Saw it with Priest. Look at the wreck that he had here last year.
True,
Ryan Blaney. These guys are tough. They're gladiators in these cars.
Well, we still got a race to settle.
They train for these. The kid's physically fit.
Less than 10 to go when we actually get restarted here.
And that's why you train. Everybody talks about, this sport doesn't take athletic drivers. And
I believe did end up hitting and fixing that tire. So now he's
everything that you do. It's for those huge,
it continues to shuffle, so I don't know exactly where
McLeod
McLeod is running.
Injury to go
Brown looks like he is
along with it by
seventh.
being out of shape and not being flexible, but that is as big a hit as you're going to take that Ryan Blaney just took.
Ten laps to go, and Kaz Gralla is in position now to race into the Daytona 500. He is 7th overall, ahead of David Reagan and B.J. McLeod. Saturday on Fox Primetime Hoops, another chapter in a Big Ten rivalry as Tyson Walker leads Michigan State in a showdown against Michigan. It all tips off at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Well, we'll see.
21 cars started, 16 remain.
Looks
Half
like it's
the
going to be
cars
8 to
involved
go
in that collision
here.
are off the track.
Well,
and
let's talk
Gralla
real quick
right
about
now
backup
is the
cars.
highest running open
Usually,
car, which is
I
what he
know
needs to
with Stewart
do.
Haas Racing, there might be one
If he
backup car in
doesn't
the
finish
trailer,
ahead of
but usually
Reagan,
in a
he does not
situation
make
like
the
this,
show.
The car, one of the extra cars, when you wreck multiple cars, the extra cars will come from the shop that are semi-prepared to
Bell,
come down on the
Hamlin,
racetrack.
Cindric,
So there will
Bell,
definitely need to be a
Nemechek,
few race
Keselowski,
cars that
Gralla,
are
Smith,
maybe not in the haulers.
Dinger, and Reagan is your
the
top
racetrack.
10.
And Ryan Blaney's car is.
Looks like McLeod's going to
that was
restart
totaled.
13th here.
Getting set for the restart, Michael McDowell, Denny Hamlin, Austin Cindric, Christopher Bell. Here's some audio from Team 11.
A couple of Toyotas lining up there on the inside.
knows that he's a very important part of this equation. Got to stay aggressive on the toy. Copy.
3 Toyotas lined up on the
I
bottom.
want to keep an eye on those Toyotas. Again, they
also
won
have
Duel
Bubba
1
Wallace
with
out
Reddick.
back in 16th place. 3 Fords rather. Smith, Allmendinger, Byron, and McLeod. 4 of them. The rest are Fords.
And what Denny is talking about is the responsibility of that third place driver to maintain that gap as close as possible to second. And the second place guy is the one that is responsible for pushing the first place car.
We'll
so
see what happens. 8 to go in Duel 2.
Everybody has a responsibility.
Who wins it? Who makes it?
We'll have 8 laps to run. Cars that were in the accident go to the tail end of the longest line. That's why the inside lane is so much shorter than the outside. Here we go.
Yep. At green, 8 laps. So Duel 2 again. Duel 1 had a last lap pass. Could very well see the same thing here in Duel 2. Again, the Toyotas lined up together.
On the bottom, Ford's up top.
Hamlin gets the point.
It's a weird restart with all those cars on the outside, and it looked like the inside line wasn't going. All of a sudden,
but here comes the Fords back.
With all those cars.
Comes a huge run by McDowell off the bumper.
4 Fords there.
Outside.
Dowell, Cindric,
quick move right there.
Kozlowski, and Gralla.
Look at that 36, Kaz Gralla, trying to race his way into the top Daytona 500, and he moves into 5th position.
He has to hold off Reagan if he's going to make the show. Reagan right now 2 cars behind him. Inside coming back.
BJ McLeod at the back. His
Hamlin
car
trying to side draft.
Has got to get to
inside
Gralla
coming back.
or go home.
I don't know why they keep saying that McLeod's got to get to Gralla. No,
Yeah, we see
Gralla has to maintain his
right
position.
The flames come out of Denny Hamlin's
he loses that spot to Reagan.
The shift right there, Clint.
Doesn't matter.
That was already short.
Then stacked him up even worse.
Stacked him up a little bit worse.
6 to go.
A missed shift with this new gearbox is pretty uncommon, though, isn't it?
A lot of it just depends on the style of shifting that you're doing. A lot of them are doing
still
no
dicing
shifts
back
where
and forth at the front.
Hold the car wide open and it shifts off the rev limiter, and sometimes that shifter gets a little bit sticky.
There's
So
going
you
to be
don't
3
really
abreast
know what
back here. Briscoe falling back.
See the 14 car of Chase Briscoe on the outside there going all the way to the back.
Even that would show flames, though, like a no lift shift, like you were saying. Hitting that rev limiter.
God, still
it's really close
hanging on there.
By Bell and Cindric right there in the second line.
Coming to 5 to go. McDowell aggressively trying to keep those cars on the inside close.
Trying to get clear of McDowell.
Side to side.
Nope, they're still side by side. Gralla right now comfortably in P8.
Austin
no pressure
doing
yet.
A great job of being a pusher on the outside lane, and we saw the 3rd car in the outside lane there of Brad Keselowski coming through the tri-oval, doing exactly what he did with Kyle Busch. You have to shake off what just happened and still be in there and be aggressive and be a good pusher, because that's what it takes to go forward in this style of racing.
Stack nose to
If
tail.
there's damage on that car or not, talking about Keselowski, he just doesn't seem like he can really pull up to the car.
Hamlin able to pull out ahead of
quite as good as he was
McDowell.
before.
Well, I think a lot of it is probably due to the 36 car. When those guys get going, the 36 car is not close enough to Brad.
Ooh, Hamlin
Denny.
saved it though.
The block by his teammate. That is not at all what he wanted.
And McDowell pays the price.
McDowell, I think, is like, I'm getting out of this.
Last-minute decision by him. He elected to go up, make that block.
That was almost bad there for a second.
That almost wadded up the whole field.
Yeah, I think it was Bell got into the back of the 11.
Going to start on the front row.
There it is. No, he did go up there. He did go up there to make a late block. I thought maybe he got hit. No. No, that was him trying to go up there to block McDowell.
When Denny went up to make that block, it was in the worst spot it could be going into the tri-oval, and then Michael McDowell had to lift, and there was so much momentum, it almost just pushed him out of line from the front and the back. Big push by the 2. See the 2, everybody lift just like the last wreck, and Michael McDowell went up to keep that wreck from happening.
Now he just can't quite get Bell up to him. I think he still wants to be down on the bumper of that teammate of his. Can he make that work?
Well, he's got 2 good pushers behind him in Austin Cindric and Brad Keselowski, so he might not be in a bad spot.
I'm not trusting those guys push come to shove in his last lap, though.
You can't.
McDowell has taken his front row starting car for Sunday.
Ooh, AJ is going to go to the middle.
Out of the lead draft.
Oh, we're 3, guys. We're 3. Oh, I thought we were going to go 4 there for a second, and then look at McLeod. McLeod in the middle.
Right in Denny's favor, though. He found that bumper of his teammate. They're split up 3 wide behind him. Watch them guys.
He's in the middle. Those guys are stuck up
That
top.
wound up hurting Brad and Austin Cindric. They went all the way to the back after AJ Allmendinger pulled down to the bottom lane.
And in the back, Gralla and McLeod battling for the last spot.
He's swept to the inside. He's going to get by Gralla here.
Last next to the last row.
He is.
It shows you
McLeod
how
around
much a 3-wide
Gralla.
scenario slows down.
Can he get back in line there? He's got to chop him off.
There they are, battling for the Daytona 500.
It doesn't have any help, though.
Must finish ahead of these other two cars, or he goes home.
It's going to come down to help. Who can get help?
Need some help on that inside, and I think he's going
holding his own.
He's got to. Yep, got to stay there.
And once again, we're going to
got to stay with that 14 if he can.
Brought to you by Credit One Bank. As Denny Hamlin leads them toward the checkered flag, and
white
this
flag.
battle to qualify is just as good as race 1.
This outside line's forming. These Fords are going
needs help.
for it.
Burton with help.
Pushed by Cindric into Harrison Burton. Here they come. See Bell move up and slow that momentum, Kevin.
Burton doesn't have room. He couldn't get down.
There with the momentum, and he's going to try to use
Bell, Hamlin way down to the bottom.
And Bell right back in
but he's going to lose the lead.
Almost too aggressive. Not almost. It
Here
was
comes
too
the
aggressive.
Fords.
Got him down. The momentum goes to the outside with Bell.
Burton just couldn't squeeze
Ooh,
down.
Cindric.
So does. Goes underneath Harrison Burton, and it's Austin Cindric.
Man, what a move out of Cindric. Can he get back to Bell?
Right together,
can he get back to Cloud? We'll see.
One of them makes it. One of them goes home.
Can he get to him? No, Bell wins it. Oh, check up! Gralla makes it.
Appears to be Kaz Gralla.
Harrison Burton was
Gralla's
really
in.
hoping he was going to get that help and stay with him off of forward by Cindric. Cindric went forward on the bottom.
He's not going to be happy about that.
No.
You know, I think being on the same team, I think Harrison Burton is going to be severely unhappy with Austin Cindric.
Yeah, I think rightfully so.
And Toyota.
Gralla 12th, McLeod 14. 100%
luck, Adam. That's hard work and studying there, buddy.
What did I say about Toyota? What did I say last night?
Denny went for a big block. That was a lot of momentum. He jerked that wheel, tried
Toyota
to get out in front of them,
the
almost
duels.
kind of forced him to go to the outside, really, Kevin.
Yeah, because it looked like he was just coming at him with such a rate of speed that he had to go where he wasn't and wound up being able to.
I said watch him because they might have good race cars.
Played right in his hand.
It really did.
They swept
Toyota
the duel
finishes
races.
first, third, and fourth. Fords second and fifth. Chevrolet sixth. And first, let's look at the race to the flag.
Yeah, and you see the 11 is out there a little bit, and Christopher Bell up on the top of the racetrack. And
It was the run coming, and Hamlin obviously made the move to try to block the run.
When Denny pulls that car down so hard, it just takes that momentum, and he was able
Bell
to
just
go
stayed
up
to
on
the
the
top.
outside and carry on with the 21 and the 2. But
pretty much forced to.
Yeah, he was forced to do that.
Oh, Cindric, very aggressive move to try to get a shot at the win. And just as in race 1, the winner leads only the final lap.
Yep. Another last lap pass.
Whew. Got me excited.
2 duels, 2 last lap passes.
That's good racing, guys.
Now, let's show the battle.
Maybe that could be a story for the 500. Now they got checked up. That's what put McLeod even with a chance here at Gralla.
Where do you go? Where is there room? Where can you run?
And then I think Haley just checked up that high side enough.
Kaz Gralla, whose car did not even turn a qualifying lap last night. He downshifted it instead of upshifting it. The motor blew. They replaced the engine. He races here tonight into the 500.
Cindric made the move he did because Burton chickened out on making the move on the 20.
Oh, he's looking for a child to give that winning flag to. He's pointing him out right now.
I think that's exactly why Cindric made the move that he did, was because Burton checked. I think they were going to try to get Bell, but Burton for some reason didn't.
Yeah, it feels good. These plate races, man, they're
Didn't.
I don't know what to think of them. Me and Adam Stevens, my crew chief, we have a running joke that I always say these races are 100%.
He didn't make the move for some reason, so Gralla said. So Cindric said, "Okay, I'm going to try to see what I need." He came back. He came back on Bell. I thought for a second they were going to have the momentum to get him.
It feels good to do everything right today.
Well done.
Thank you.
Denny Hamlin comes home third in duel number 2, trying
How
your
about
best to
that?
hold off Christopher Bell. What more did you need at the end, and what did you learn?
I probably just needed to cover the top there a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, it was a great, really good move by him and getting the momentum that it started to get stirred up there behind him. And you know, we're trying everything we can to block both lanes, and you just can't. You got to pick one. And really, just good solid day and got some information to learn from.
Yeah, House of R and Duel 1, you can check
Duel
Duel 2.
Thanks, Denny. Regan?
Well, it's quite the roller coaster ride for Kaz Grala. Last night, of course, the troubles, and then you come here tonight. Looks like you're going to be okay. You lose the draft, then you get the draft back with the yellow flag. Somehow you raced your way into the Daytona 500. How are those nerves right now?
Oh man, I'm just coming down from it, but that was so much more
The
stressful
wreck was
than
the
it
difference
needed to be
maker.
for us. You know, for a little while there, we looked to be in good shape, and then yeah, we had some trouble there. Pit road.
The wreck was the difference maker. The wreck was what
just really proud of
ultimately
everybody at Front Row
decided it.
Motorsports. They worked so hard the last 24 hours to get our car ready to race today. We had some troubles yesterday, so really cool to be able to get it in the show for them. There's a big opportunity for me here, so excited to be here on Sunday again.
Have fun Sunday. Thanks, Kaz.
The Boston native makes the Daytona 500. Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick win their respective blue-green dual races, both by leading only the final lap.
There's nothing better than the Subway Series footlong, except when you add an all-new footlong sidekick, like the $2 footlong churro covered in cinnamon sugar deliciousness, or the $3 footlong pretzel
Just two Fiverr.
honey mustard shot.
Yaley
Let's
and
not forget the $5 gooey footlong chocolate chip cookie. What's your
Yaley
favorite
and
flavor?
McLeod
You're my
would be the two that do not race on Sunday.
You're my favorite sidekick.
We'll get back to him later. Every epic footlong deserves the perfect sidekick.
We want our dog to fetch it.
Drop it.
And drop it. Drop it. Sadly, we can't have it all. Except at Sport Clips, where we check in with the pros in men's hair and totally check out with pure, uninterrupted relaxation. Sport Clips.
At Metro, get a new iPhone 12 with 5G. Take amazing pictures and share instantly. You don't take yada yada in life? Don't take yada yada from your wireless provider. Get a new iPhone 12 with 5G for only $99.99. Only at Metro.
This is Rochelle, who gives you a shot. Rebecca is there when you feel not so hot. This is Larissa, who's feeling blown up. And this here is Winnie, who zhuzhed up their cup. This is Victoria, helping women stay healthy. These are your kids, snacking snacks made with veggies. And Maddie can help you find your new favorite color. And Kyle helps ride men for under 10.
Not really. I mean, I watched the.
Wherever.
I watched
At CBS, healthier happens together.
At Honda,
watched
we
OT.
chase down a lot of dreams, each one leading to the next.
Or should I say I watched the last minute in OT.
All
So.
new, all electric Honda Prologue.
Let's begin, shall we?
This is Apple TV Plus, the streaming service with something for everyone. Let's go! New releases every week, the best movies, shows, and so much more. You can watch it on all the devices you already own.
Here we go.
Start streaming now.
I need to see if we get any other post-race interviews before I close out the stream. I'm gonna go to my Discord and probably do some screen share in there. Not really. I mean, I really wasn't interested in watching it this year. I only watched the end because it started to get good at the end. So
Sure,
like, okay,
there
I'll
are
catch the end
heroes
of
in
it.
Daytona. Like Tyler Reddick and Christopher Bell, the dual winners tonight. Here is the
official starting lineup.
for Sunday's Daytona 500. Joey Logano, Michael
Obviously, this is
McDowell,
based
Lon
off of
Kemper
finishing
cars and
results
Tech
tonight.
Pursuit
Obviously,
front row
we're
starting spots. Then
probably
the
gonna have a
dual
couple
winners,
backup cars.
and the way they
but-
finish from there on back.
Well, the thing that I was nervous about going into tonight were the Toyotas, but man, did they ever prove me wrong?
Don't worry about the Toyotas anymore.
Yeah,
They're going to be just fine.
I hear you.
You know, a lot of these cars tore up. You know, look at Kyle Busch, 2 years in a row, tore up race car. Didn't matter. He went right back to that 500 backup car and made the difference.
And now you've got a couple practice sessions to be able to work on your car. Hopefully tomorrow, maybe only one if the weather comes in.
David Reagan will
you
be the
have
last
to
starter.
Take what you did tonight and be able to make that into good changes with your car from a handling standpoint.
So there are heroes, there are celebrations, but there's also heartbreak tonight. Josh.
Yeah, and BJ McLeod comes up just short of making it into the Daytona 500 after an absolute battle there with Kaz Grala. What are the emotions you're feeling right now?
Yeah, you know, most people be let down right now, but honestly, I'm just happy because I've seen what this little team can do. Like, we've got 10 full-time or 9 full-time people now between Xfinity and Cup, and they put this car together with no manufacturer support, no help of any kind. ECR power is the only reason we had a
My
real chance
official
here.
pick will come
my guys
in
did
my
an awesome
pre-race
job building
broadcast.
me an awesome car for the draft.
I may talk a little bit about
qualifying,
it,
but
truck
the way
race,
it
and
drove in the
the other,
draft, it was
my other
worth it. I had a
streams
blast,
leading
got
up
up
to
there
it.
and raced, and got to learn a lot and hopefully show some of the other drivers that we have good equipment.
But I'm going to wait
that
till
we're here to
race
race.
day to
So
actually say
whenever
who
the
I think's
78's
going to
around
win it.
from here on out,
For sure.
we're here with good equipment, and we're here to see what we can do.
Thanks, BJ.
Thank you.
Boy, BJ McLeod and JJ Yaley in race 1 made this a great show. So, what did we learn other than things happen fast up here?
Well, I learned a lot. I was a little bit overwhelmed with everything that was going on. I apologize for that, but it was intense. We tore up a lot of race cars. We have to work on the things that we have to do from a handling perspective. The Toyotas are fast. And what else, Clint?
Fords. Talked about Toyota's got a new body, right? They got a new body. Check the list off. We're slow on qualifying. Sure showed the speed when the time was right and the money's on the line. The Fords. This new body on the new Mustang, the Dark Horse, not quite as good as we've seen in the last couple of years. Was it handling? Was it too tight? Something like that? An aero balance? Something? Maybe practice will show us some speed out of them. Strength is in numbers. They still have that. Can they use it on Sunday?
The one car that I really like tonight, and I think we agree on this, which is going to be rare, I've learned, is how well the 5 car could push. I love the way that the 5 car could push. It seemed like the Hendrick cars that ran had a little better handling than they had in the last couple of years, so that'll be interesting to see that progress on Sunday.
Great. I love that. Always had the speed with the Hendrick camp. Showed
Yes,
that
I
with
know
qualifying year after year after year. Didn't set on the pole
don't
this
necessarily
year.
want to
All of
talk
a sudden,
about the
here's
weather for
handling
Sunday,
and that long
but
run speed that they're looking for in a 500-mile
again,
race.
it's Florida.
Anything you saw you didn't
At the end
expect
of the day,
Well, I saw a huge wreck.
I think we need to talk more about
as
what
the
the
race
temperatures
progressed, the
could
pushing
be,
and
you
shoving
know?
became more important. They started pushing and shoving, and the next thing you know, we had a wreck. So we tore up a lot of cars.
I am Kevin Harvick. Well, he's
Because
Kevin
the
Harvick, but
temperature
that's what
could
airs next
determine
right here on
handling,
FS1,
too.
and we hope you enjoy
So
it. Here's
that's
tomorrow
the
on
thing I think is
FS1
going to be
Truck
most
Series
interesting to
qualifying,
watch about Sunday
lots of
is
practice,
the temperature.
and then the Truck Series race tomorrow night, all
that
on
that could
FS1.
determine what kind of race
I
we
am Kevin
see.
Harvick. Next, right here on Fox Sports. Hope you enjoyed it. I know Tyler Reddick and Christopher Bell did. They each led 1 lap and each ended up in victory lane in the Blue Green Vacations Duel at Daytona.
Yeah, I agree, Hamill. I think we're going to get it in. I think we're going to get the 500 in on Sunday.
Lots of men have trouble performing their best in bed. For some guys,
But yeah, that's going to do it for me here. I'll go head on out and be ready for some truck racing tomorrow night. The tailgating. Hey, it's one of my favorite animes, Castle. That's why I have it as my background, desktop background. So, yep. I'm gonna hop on out of here. Maybe we'll think about rating somebody maybe over the weekend, you know. Coverage starts at 7:30. I'm assuming just a little after 8 is when the green flag's planned, so. Arca time I think is 1:30 for the broadcast there, so. But peace out, guys. Hope you enjoyed tonight. I know I did tonight. I'm ready for Sunday. It's gonna be fun. Lane, you can come. I'll be in Discord chat in a little bit. You can come join when I jump in there. You come join when I jump in there. See you guys tomorrow night. If I see you, if not, we'll obviously see you Sunday.